Chapter 1872. The Primal Chaos Temple shook violently. Soon after, the entire Primal Chaos world shook along with it. Beneath the ground, a surging aura was surging. It was horrifying and powerful to the extreme. Roar! A roar came from beneath the ground. It was so powerful that it was terrifying. It was like the roar of a demonic beast that could devour the heavens. Lin Tian, Whooshing Crocodile, and Little Taichu were moved at the same time. Their expressions changed greatly. These divine patterns are seals. There's a huge sealing formation here. Whooshing Crocodile's scales stood on end. That stone tablet is a divine object that seals the formation. After it was moved, the formation was broken. Yeah! Little Taichu fluttered its wings and landed on Lin Tian's head. It grabbed a handful of Lin Tian's hair tightly, like Whooshing Crocodile. Its fur stood on end. The aura rushing out from beneath the ground at this time was too terrifying. Lin Tian felt a chill run down his spine. He activated his divine eyes of Delusion Breaker and instantly saw that there really was a huge sealing formation here. The Primal Chaos Stone Tablet's position was really the eye of the formation. He moved away from the stone tablet, causing the formation core to break, causing the sealing formation to materialize. Then, because the formation core was destroyed, the formation patterns collapsed and the formation collapsed. Let's go. He gritted his teeth and wrapped Whooshing Crocodile and Little Taichu in golden divine light. He quickly rushed out of the formation. Following this terrifying aura rushing out and a roar coming from beneath the ground, there was no need to guess. There was an extremely terrifying existence sealed under the Primal Chaos Temple. Now, it was about to break out of the formation. At this moment, he channeled the Sun Heart Sutra to the limit and used the duality steps to the limit to escape quickly. Boom! The earth trembled. Under the influence of the powerful divine energy rushing out from beneath the ground, the space above the Primal Chaos Temple became incomparably chaotic. The originally small area was very difficult for him to rush out. The distorted space affected his movements. Crack! 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 The space shattered bit by bit, and huge cracks appeared one after another. Different auras were emitted from these cracks, as if they were connected to unknown places, causing Lin Tian to feel a chill run down his spine. This was because these rifts were chaotic spaces created by the terrifying divine energy that rushed up from underground. Once they were sucked in, they had no idea where they would drift to. They might fall into some terrifying forbidden area, or even be directly crushed to death by the destructive airflow in these rifts. Twinkle! Run! Whooshing Crocodile shouted. Naturally, he knew how terrifying these large cracks were. He was so scared that cold sweat flowed down his face. Lin Tian used the duality steps. His speed was extremely fast, leaving behind afterimages as he rushed out of the formation. However, this space had become extremely chaotic due to the divine power surging up from underground. At this moment, it was already very difficult for him to avoid those large rifts. It was very difficult for him to escape this formation. Roar! Roars came from underground again, shaking the sky. For a moment, it was as if an apocalyptic earthquake had occurred in the chaotic world. Many mountain ranges collapsed one after another, and divine rivers collapsed one after another. Countless living beings became extremely terrified. Crack! 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 The void collapsed even more, and even more large cracks appeared. Extremely terrifying auras flowed out from them. In the next moment, the entire Chaos Temple collapsed. The surface of the ground began to sink, crack, and then explode. Billowing demonic fog gushed out from the ground as a colossal monster rushed out. It was as big as a mountain, and its entire body was covered in black scales. There were huge chains coiling around its body, and each chain had a diameter of about 1,000 feet. After 3 years, I've finally come out. The huge monster looked like a pitch-black, demonic beast. At this moment, it roared toward the sky and directly shattered the chains on its body. After the broken chains fell to the ground, they smashed everything, causing the ground to collapse and sink. No one knew how much was destroyed, and fiery red magma surged up, causing the air in this place to become scorching hot. At the same time, the sky of this chaotic world became extremely dark in an instant. Streaks of black lightning exploded in the clouds, as if they were going to destroy everything. Lin Tian couldn't help but tremble. His internal organs were cold. This aura was even more terrifying than that of the 12-winged Saint Emissary. Oh my God! Is this? Whooshing crocodile couldn't even speak properly. Even the little Taichu couldn't help but tremble. Its body shrunk even smaller, completely immersing itself in Lin Tian's hair. It was really frightened by this demonic beast. Crack! 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 The shattering sounds continued. In this place, the space became even more chaotic, and even more terrifying large cracks appeared. Lin Tian's back became even colder. He used golden divine light to envelop himself, the whooshing crocodile, and the little Taichu on his head. He used the yin-yang steps to dodge these large cracks that suddenly appeared one after another with difficulty, avoiding being sucked in. Rumble! Divine power vibrated, and the sky trembled. This place was completely destroyed, and everything was collapsing along with it. The demonic beast roared. Its eyes were incomparably huge. It tilted its head in the sky and looked at Lin Tian. Little guy, many thanks. When we meet again in the future, I'll definitely repay this great kindness. Its gaze fell on Lin Tian, and its voice resonated like a divine bell. It knew that Lin Tian had moved the Chaos Stone Tablet, allowing it to break out of the formation. As soon as it finished speaking, it looked at the sky. Two beams of demonic light directly shot out from its huge eyes, piercing through the sky and causing a large passage to appear in the sky. You old farts, just you wait. You've trapped me for so many years. I'll tear you all to pieces and swallow you all. With a whoosh, it turned into a beam of demonic light and directly charged into the large passage, disappearing in an instant. At the same time, the large passage also closed. Only the space in this place was still in endless chaos because of the remnant divine power. Even more terrifying large cracks appeared, leading to unknown places. F***CK. Lin Tian used golden divine light to envelop the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu. As he dodged these large cracks, he looked in the direction that the demonic beast had left in. He couldn't help but curse. He was so angry that he wanted to slap it to death. If you want to repay our kindness, don't you know that you can help us out of this predicament while you're at it? Are you blind? Is there something wrong with your head? I'm really. $. Chapter 1873. Lin Tian was infuriated. This was the first time he had seen such an unreliable and stupid ancient beast. Has this guy lost his IQ after being locked up for so long? The whooshing crocodile cursed. Even the little Taichu was furious. Yeah, damn it. However, they were soon in no mood to complain and curse the powerful ancient beast. This was because more and more large cracks were appearing in this place. Different auras were coming out of each crack, as if they were connected to different places. Lin Tian used the yin-yang steps and quickly dodged these cracks. At the same time, he was trying to break out of this place. However, because the divine power left behind by the powerful ancient beast was too shocking, the space here was extremely chaotic. It was really difficult for him to break out. Crack! A crisp sound was heard. Just as he was dodging one of the many cracks, another large crack suddenly appeared behind him. It naturally had a suction force that pulled him into it. In an instant, his expression changed greatly. At this time, he had just dodged the other big cracks, but another one suddenly appeared behind him. Because it came too suddenly, he didn't expect it at first, so he couldn't dodge it at all. The whooshing crocodile obviously knew about Lin Tian's current situation. Its expression changed, and it could not help but shout, "It's over." In the next moment, with a swoosh, the crack directly pulled them in. As soon as they were pulled in, their vision became extremely dark. Lin Tianji felt that the space around him was shaking. His expression turned extremely ugly, and his defensive light shield became even stronger. It was also at this moment that a buzzing sound reverberated. In front of him, in this large dark crack, a silver-white storm was sweeping. It was the spatial turbulence inside the void. Moreover, it was not an ordinary spatial turbulence. It was extremely terrifying. He could clearly feel the power that was enough to crush everything intertwined in this spatial turbulence. He felt a chill down his spine. Without any hesitation, he summoned a god emperor corpse from the immortal emperor pagoda. After which, he used his own immortal emperor pagoda to keep himself, the little Taichu, and the whooshing crocodile. After which, he used a strand of his soul power to control it, allowing the immortal emperor pagoda to enter the god emperor corpse. At this moment, if they were to face the spatial turbulence head-on, they would definitely die tragically in an instant. At this moment, they could only rely on the tough, fleshly shell of a god emperor expert. At this moment, as they had fallen deep into the crack, the suction force of the crack would naturally pull them in a fixed direction. Hence, at this moment, he didn't need to control the divine emperor's corpse to do anything. He only needed to rely on the divine emperor's corpse to block the power of the spatial turbulence for them. Pooh! 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 Blood splattered everywhere, and the corpse of the god emperor was being injured. Cracks appeared on the flesh shell in the blink of an eye, and blood splattered everywhere. This scene undoubtedly caused the hearts of the man and the two beasts in the god emperor's corpse to palpitate. The god emperor's corpse couldn't completely withstand the spatial turbulence. Under the turbulence, the flesh shell was crumbling. Because this is a huge crack created by the divine power of an existence that has surpassed the level of a god emperor, the spatial turbulence within it is far from ordinary spatial turbulence. Lin Tian's expression was ugly. The situation before him was too dangerous. The buzzing continued. They hid in the immortal emperor pagoda and hid in the god emperor's corpse. Following the suction force of the huge crack, they were pulled in a fixed direction. The god emperor's corpse was constantly being damaged. In the blink of an eye, 15 minutes passed. The god emperor's corpse was covered in cracks. Finally, with a crack, it shattered completely. The immortal emperor pagoda was exposed in the spatial turbulence. Lin Tian's scalp turned cold. However, his reaction was very fast. He quickly summoned the last god emperor's corpse from the immortal emperor pagoda, and then controlled the immortal emperor pagoda to hide in the corpse. Almighty crocodile ancestor, this is the last god emperor's corpse. We must hold on until the spatial turbulence ends. Please! Whooshing crocodile could not help but cry out and pray. If they did not leave the range of the spatial turbulence after the last god emperor's corpse shattered, they would be completely finished. At that time, they would be crushed to death by the terrifying spatial turbulence. Just like the first god emperor's corpse, this god emperor's corpse was also constantly damaged in the spatial turbulence. Cracks appeared one after another on its flesh shell, and blood splattered out one after another. After that, the power of the spatial turbulence gradually weakened. After about 15 minutes, with the protection of the last god emperor's corpse, they finally escaped the range of the spatial turbulence. Almighty crocodile ancestor, you are an immortal now. Thank you for your protection. Whooshing crocodile was very excited. Lin Tian also heaved a sigh of relief. They were finally out of danger. He controlled the immortal emperor pagoda and rushed out of the god emperor's corpse with a whoosh. Then, he led whooshing crocodile and little Taichu out of the immortal emperor pagoda. It was also at this moment that the last god emperor's corpse exploded with a pu sound. It shattered into pieces, and a large expanse of blood sprayed out. Two god emperor's corpses. They were great killing machines. Gone just like that. Whooshing crocodile felt a little pained. Lin Tian also felt a little pained, but he did not care too much. He said, "It's good enough that we survived." "Oh, that's true," Whooshing crocodile said. "It's all thanks to these two god emperor's corpses. Otherwise, we would all be finished." Then, it could not help but grit its teeth and scold. That brainless demonic beast. Lin Tian's face darkened when he heard its last sentence. That demonic beast was very terrifying. Its aura was even stronger than that of the 12-winged Saint Envoy. However, it really made him feel that there was something wrong with its head. Thinking about it now made him very angry. Didn't it say that it would repay us when we meet again? Next time, tell it to let us beat it up. Whooshing Crocodile said, full of resentment. In the void, the air hummed. Lin Tian did not say anything. He looked in the direction that they had floated to. This time, in this large crack, their surroundings were not completely dark. They could see light and speak. I don't know where we will float to. Crocodile ancestor above, please protect us. Please don't fall into some scary forbidden area. That would not be fun. Whooshing Crocodile started to pray again. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. On this day, the void in the large crack trembled. An obviously brighter light appeared in front of them. A strong force emerged from the void and knocked the man and the two beasts out of the void. They once again stepped on a solid ground, landing on a rather spacious flat ground. In the distance, there were immortal mountains and ancient peaks lying horizontally. The air was overflowing with immortal spiritual energy, and there were even strands of weak divine energy interweaving. It was extremely astonishing. At the same time, there were many people standing around them. They were all young men and women. The aura they emitted was not weak. Most of them were frowning and looking strangely at the man and the two beasts who had suddenly appeared. Which clan are you cultivators from? Why did you suddenly appear here? It seems that all the trial takers from the various great clans who are qualified to enter here have arrived. Chapter 1874. The woman who spoke was dressed in a tight green dress that accentuated her beautiful figure. Lin Tian looked at the woman. Her aura was astonishing, even stronger than his. She was at the heavenly god realm. Where is this place? He looked around and asked. He had been sucked into a giant crack in the primal chaos world and appeared here half a month later. Naturally, he wanted to know what this place was. You don't know? The woman frowned. This is the great Brahma holy land. You don't know? The expressions of the surrounding people, when they looked at Lin Tian, became even stranger. Lin Tian's expression changed. This is the great Brahma holy land? An old drunkard had told him that for the world's seed to blossom and bear fruit, it needed several rare divine treasures. One of them could only be found in the great Brahma holy land. He didn't expect that after the primal chaos world was sucked into the great Brahma holy land, he would accidentally enter the great Brahma holy land. Seeing him like this, the woman's frown deepened. It seems like you know nothing about this place. How did you get in? I accidentally entered. Lin Tian said. Accidentally entered? This ancient domain has existed for a long time. It requires experts at least at the God Emperor realm to tear open the barrier and send people in. What kind of accident can be compared to a God Emperor realm expert? The woman was curious. Lin Tian was surprised. To enter the great Brahma holy land, one needed experts at least at the God Emperor realm to tear open the barrier and send people in? An old drunkard hadn't mentioned this to him before. Thinking of this, he was speechless. An old drunkard had asked him to go to the great Brahma holy land to find a divine treasure that was necessary for the world's seed to blossom and bear fruit. Did he not consider that he was far from a God Emperor realm expert and would find it difficult to enter? Or was finding a way to enter the great Brahma holy land also considered as an experience? He thought for a moment, and then felt that this was really the old drunkard's way of using this matter as an experience for him. Then he thought of something else. All the people here had been sent in by godly emperors, hadn't they? In that case, how strong were the forces these people belonged to? At the very least, there were godly emperors in their respective factions. There were even godly emperors in their factions. Could they be compared to the chaotic race? What's the point of talking to him? Just kill him. A voice rang out. In this place, a handsome young man spoke, walking towards Lin Tian. Seeing that Lin Tian had no idea about this place, it was obvious that he wasn't a cultivator from one of the major clans who had the qualifications to enter this place. Since he wasn't, there was no need to ask any more questions. Just directly kill him. Stop, Suo Xian. The great Brahma divine earth is not a private domain. It is only temporarily controlled by our various races as a training ground. They accidentally entered here, so just let them leave. You don't have to kill them, nor do you have the right to do so. A woman in blue spoke. Her cultivation base was also at the heavenly god tier. She had a pretty face and her brows were slightly furrowed. Rights? The handsome young man sneered. What rights do we need to kill him? I'm strong enough. This is my right. As he spoke, he sped up and stepped in front of Lin Tian in one step. Then he directly punched towards Lin Tian's face. Dong! The fist radiance splashed, and a majestic force surged. It was extremely powerful. A cold light flashed in Lin Tian's eyes. He ordered the whooshing crocodile and little Taichu to retreat a little. Then, he directly raised his hand and threw out a punch towards his opponent. In the next moment, the two fists collided, and a huge roar was heard, shaking the void in all directions. Following which, the two of them were both sent flying backwards. Around them, the others were moved. Their eyes fell on Lin Tian, revealing a look of surprise. He actually blocked Luo Wanqing's punch. He's on par with Luo Wanqing. Luo Wanqing was the divine son of this generation of the demonic mermaids. His cultivation base was already at the peak heavenly god tier, and his physique was extremely strong. But now, a half-step heavenly god cultivator had completely blocked Luo Wanqing's punch. He was not weak at all. Luo Wanqing steadied his body and looked at Lin Tian again. His eyes became sinister and cold, like a ferocious beast that had been released from its cage. His demonic mermaids clan was ranked within the top 1,000 clans in the heavens. As the divine son of this generation of the clan, his cultivation base was at the peak heavenly god tier. Now, he could not kill a half-step heavenly god with one punch. His opponent had completely withstood his punch and even forced him back. This was simply a humiliation to him. Die! His eyes were cold and his voice was bone-chilling. The peak heavenly god divine power surged and pressed towards Lin Tian. At the same time, it also enveloped the whooshing crocodile and little Taichu, who were fighting with Lin Tian. He wanted to kill Lin Tian. At the same time, he also wanted to kill everyone related to Lin Tian. For a time, there was a rumbling sound. The space in all directions trembled, and a large area directly collapsed. Lin Tian's eyes focused. He was not weak now, but if he were to really go up against someone at the peak heavenly god tier, he was definitely no match for them. Buzz! Divine lights surged, and dozens of divine elephants propped up. Their light shone in all directions, covering everything as they went to meet his opponent. Then, without hesitation, he immediately used the duality steps to retreat. Golden divine light enveloped the whooshing crocodile and little Taichu, and he turned into a bolt of lightning. In a flash, he was tens of thousands of feet away, rushing even further away. Luo Wanqing's divine power crushed dozens of divine elephants, but Lin Tian had completely disappeared from his field of vision. At this time, it was too late to chase after him. He had completely lost track of Lin Tian's aura. He actually escaped. That's a wise move. However, to be able to successfully escape under Luo Wanqing's divine power is enough to show that this person is not ordinary. That speed just now was really fast. At this place, many of the other cultivators in the group spoke up. Many of them could not help but slightly squint their eyes. Luo Wanqing's expression was particularly ugly. It was so gloomy that it was about to drip water. A half-step, heavenly god had actually succeeded in escaping from his hands. In front of all the divine sons and divine daughters of the various large clans, this was very humiliating. Don't let me see you again. His voice was cold. He stared in the direction Lin Tian had escaped, and the killing intent in his eyes was like a wanton storm. In the Daffin divine land, a blazing sun hung in the firmament. On the surface of the earth, one divine mountain after another was connected to another, and all of them were very majestic. Lin Tian took the whooshing crocodile and little Taichu with him as he sped away. At the same time, he concealed all of his aura. At this time, they were already very far away from their previous place. Not long after, they stopped at the peak of a desolate mountain. As far as the eye could see, There were many ancient trees on the mountain. They were incomparably thick and strong, and it was unknown how long they had been growing for. That son of a b asterisk tch is really arrogant and insidious. His grandpa, the whooshing crocodile, cursed. Yeah, the little Taichu also cried out angrily. Chapter 1875. Lin Tian would never show mercy to those who wanted to kill him for no reason. If they wanted to kill him, he would kill them in return. He stood at the top of the mountain and scanned the surroundings. Then he called the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu to go deeper into the mountain. Soon, they found a relatively secluded valley and engraved several ceiling formations around it to isolate the aura. "What are you doing?" the whooshing crocodile asked curiously. "Refining the mixed sacred source into the world seed." Lin Tian on Dao. The world seed was extraordinary. However, in order for it to blossom and bear fruit, it needed several special divine items of heaven and earth. The mixed sacred source was one of them. He had obtained the mixed sacred source in the chaotic world. Now he was going to refine it into the world seed. Then he would look for another divine item of heaven and earth in the Daffin divine land. As he said that, he waved his right hand and took out a fist-sized crystal from the immortal Emperor Pagoda. It emitted a faint divine glow and a chaotic aura. It was the mixed sacred source he had found in the chaotic world. "It will take a long time. Help me guard the area," he said to the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu. "Don't worry." "Yeah," the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu both said. They moved away from Lin Tian and looked around cautiously. Lin Tian Wei took a deep breath and operated the Heart Sutra of Sun to the maximum. He adjusted his energy to the peak. Then he closed his eyes and wrapped the mixed sacred source in golden divine light. It entered his body and came to the side of the world seed where the life origin was. The world seed was only the size of a thumb. It was surrounded by a faint divine glow, as if it was nurturing all possibilities. Lin Tian led the mixed sacred source to the side of the world seed. He used his mind to shatter the mixed sacred source. Strands of Genesis chaotic chi appeared and flowed into the world seed. In an instant, the world seed vibrated. The divine glow surrounding it became thicker and more terrifying. Buzz! The holy light became as gentle as water, surrounding the world seed. Gradually, the world seed began to grow. Although the speed of growth was very slow, its aura became more and more vast, with waves of primitive energy surging. Lin Tian used the Sun Heart Sutra to refine it. He closed his eyes and focused on the world seed. He could clearly feel the changes. As the mixed sacred sources Tai, Chu Chaos Chi entered the world seed, it was like a saint beast was about to break out of its shell. At the same time, as the world seed changed, wisps of grand beginning aura surged around the seed. Some of them entered his body. Lin Tian immediately shuddered. This grand primordial chi contained extremely shocking divine might. There were laws of the great path, laws of the immortal path, and laws of the God path, as well as some other powers that he struggled to understand. As they surged into his body, they naturally began to temper his flesh and bones. He could even vaguely hear the sound of thunder reverberating. His heart skipped a beat. The world seed was growing. It hadn't really blossomed yet, but during this process, it had already begun to help him temper his body. The effects were astonishing. In the blink of an eye, he felt that he had become much stronger. He was shocked, but then he immediately put away his surprise. As he refined the mixed sacred source into the world seed, he refined the divine glow that surged into his body from the world seed. He used it to temper and strengthen his body. Immediately, his body shuddered. Even more dazzling divine light intertwined outside his body, illuminating his surroundings. Moreover, this was not the end. In the next moment, his nameless great Tao began to move naturally. Tao light interweaved, and strands of it entered the world seed, causing the world seed's growth to become even faster and more stable. Lin Tian couldn't help but be shocked by this scene. His nameless great path was actually controlling the world seed, allowing it to grow faster. It seemed that his nameless great path was at a higher level than the world seed. He was a little shocked. What kind of great path was his nameless great path? The nameless great path vibrated on its own. Tao light was gentle and vast. Wisps of it entered the world seed. In an instant, the world seed grew faster. As the speed of its growth increased, the speed at which the mixed sacred source entered the world seed also increased. More intense light surged out of the world seed. At the same time, the light that entered Lin Tian's body from the world seed also increased. Lin Tian's body shook involuntarily. His essence, qi, spirit, and cultivation level all increased rapidly. This made Lin Tian both surprised and delighted. He then completely put away his surprise and began to seriously refine the mixed sacred source into the world seed. At the same time, he also seriously refined the divine glow of the world seed that entered his body. The divine glow that exuded from his body became denser and more dazzling. The nameless great path leaped. Just like that, time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. 3 months later, the light around him grew even brighter, and so did the light of the Tao. The mixed saintly source had been completely refined, fusing with the world seed beside his life essence. The world seed had grown from the size of a thumb to the size of a fist, and its presence was even more vast and primitive. At the same time, there was a thump. The sky suddenly shook violently. In the blink of an eye, a huge pitch-black vortex appeared. Boom! In the pitch-black vortex, thunder rumbled. Streaks of blood-red lightning exploded like blood-red heavenly dragons. The mixed saintly source was completely refined into the world seed. In the process, Lin Tian had also benefited greatly. At this moment, his cultivation base had broken through from half-step heavenly god realm to heavenly god realm, directly attracting a heavenly god realm tribulation. Thump! Another loud sound rang out, and the sky seemed to be on the verge of exploding. Darkness enveloped the space within a radius of 1,000 feet in the blink of an eye, and it was still spreading. Strands of destructive aura pressed down, as if wanting to destroy everything in this space. The whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu were guarding Lin Tian. Seeing this scene, they could naturally guess what had happened. This aura is really... The whooshing crocodile's scales stood up. This was Lin Tian's heaven god tribulation. The heaven god tribulation of the reincarnated body. The destructive aura was so strong that it made its spiritual soul unstable at this moment. It felt a sharp pain. The sky shook again. Thunder rumbled. The destructive aura became even stronger. All directions were covered by the destructive aura. Then, in the next moment, there was another thump. In the sky, the pitch-black vortex of thunder slowly dissipated. The terrifying destructive aura also disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lin Tian opened his eyes. His eyes were bright, but there was cold sweat on his forehead. This is troublesome. Chapter 1876. The pitch-black lightning vortex temporarily dissipated, and the space became bright again. The destructive aura instantly dissipated. Lin Tian got up and frowned after muttering to himself. He had gained a lot of benefits from refining the mixed sacred source into the world seed. His cultivation had risen from the half-step heavenly god realm to the heavenly god realm, and he had attracted the heavenly tribulation. Then, he quickly retreated, causing the heavenly tribulation to disappear temporarily. However, in that instant, he also felt how terrifying the heavenly tribulation was. Even if he had mastered the 5 heavenly thunders technique and the divine way of thunder, it would be very difficult to pass it. "What's wrong, kid?" Whooshing crocodile floated over. Lin Tian did not hide anything and briefly explained the current situation. "If you're not confident, then don't pass the tribulation for now. Wait until you're fully prepared." Whooshing crocodile said. "It's not that simple." Lin Tian frowned. "I temporarily retreated after entering the heavenly god realm. I can only maintain this state for 7 days at most. After 7 days, even if I don't want to, I will enter the heavenly god realm and attract the heavenly tribulation." In other words, you only have 7 days to prepare? Yes. Lin Tian nodded. 7 days was not enough time to prepare. It was difficult to find a way to deal with it. After all, he was going through the heavenly tribulation now. At the very least, he needed the power of a godly king to help him. It was very difficult for him to find the power of a godly king in such a short time. Whooshing Crocodile frowned. It was indeed a little troublesome. If only one of the godly emperor corpses was preserved, it would be easy to deal with the heavenly tribulation later. It thought of that terrifying demonic beast and could not help but grit its teeth. That unreliable beast. It's already happened. It's useless to be emotional. Lin Tian on Dao. Yeah. Little Taichu flapped its wings and came to Lin Tian's side. It landed on Lin Tian's shoulder and made a childish sound. It seemed to be worried for Lin Tian, but also seemed to be encouraging Lin Tian. Lin Tian smiled and rubbed the little guy's head. Then, he looked at the little Taichu and his eyes lit up. He suddenly thought of an idea. Little fellow, try your best to communicate with the primordial immortal world in your body in 7 days. See if you can summon it out. He told the little Taichu. The primordial immortal world in the little guy's body was very extraordinary. It was a real big world. Back then, even the king of primal chaos and other peak emperor gods were envious of it. They wanted to seize it because it contained a very shocking power. Once the little fella could support the primordial immortal world, he could hide inside and undergo the heavenly god tribulation. When the 5 elements crocodile heard this, he was slightly stunned. Then, he instantly understood what Lin Tian was thinking. Great idea! With the primordial immortal world as a defense, it would not be a problem to survive the godly king and godly emperor tribulations. The heavenly deity tribulation is definitely not a problem. Lin Tian nodded and looked at little Taichu. Little guy, what do you think? Can you summon the primordial immortal empire again in 7 days? Yeah, the little fella called out to Lin Tian in a childish voice. It clenched its little paws and looked determined. It looked like it was saying that it would definitely do it. Lin Tian smiled. Okay. The Dafan Holy Land was very vast. It was called an ancient region, but it was equivalent to a big world. It was very vast. He called the little fella and Whooshing Crocodile to leave. After about a few hours, they found a very barren place in the Dafan Holy Land. There were no signs of life or signs of human habitation. They chose this place as the place to undergo the heavenly tribulation. Little guy, it's all up to you, he said to the little Taichu. Yeah, the little fella answered seriously. Faint 6-colored divine light immediately intertwined around its body. It began to communicate with the primordial immortal world in its body seriously. Lin Tian wanted to undergo the heavenly tribulation and needed the primordial immortal world. The little fella naturally worked extra hard and was more focused than ever. Lin Tian stood aside and did not disturb it. He quietly guarded it. At the same time, he secretly communicated with the divine sword in his sea of consciousness. If he could summon the rainbow divine sword, he would be able to easily pass through the heavenly tribulation. Time flew by quickly. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. The 6-colored divine light around the little fella's body lingered. It had not yet communicated with the spiritual world. At the same time, Lin Tian frowned. He tried to communicate with the rainbow divine sword in his sea of consciousness, but after a few days, there was no effect at all. The divine sword in his sea of consciousness was motionless like a boulder. It did not react at all to his will and spiritual will. I can't summon it out in a short period of time, he muttered to himself. After 3 days of hard work, he could already feel that no matter how hard he tried, he would not be able to summon this sword. He took a deep breath and stopped communicating with the divine sword in his body. His gaze fell on the little Taichu. Now, he could only rely on the little fella. After that, time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, another 3 days had passed. A full 6 days had passed. At this time, Lin Tian could not help but frown again. The divine power in his body began to become restless. It was slowly becoming difficult to suppress his cultivation realm. He was about to break through to the heavenly god realm on his own. I can suppress it for one more day at most. He muttered to himself and looked at the little Taichu again. On the last day, as the hours passed, it became increasingly difficult for him to suppress his cultivation base. Then, when he could suppress his heavenly god realm cultivation realm for at most an hour, the little Taichu let out a cheerful sound. The six-colored divine light around its body suddenly became very strong. A light realm was directly propped up, and the immortal light inside was very dense. Lin Tian's eyes suddenly lit up, and he revealed a happy expression. "It's done." Whooshing Crocodile's eyes also lit up. "Yeah." The little fella blinked its big eyes and let out a cheerful sound. For 7 days, it did not stop communicating with the primordial immortal world. It was extremely serious and diligent. At this time, it finally called out the primordial immortal world in its body. Of course, just like in the immortal region, it did not hold up the entire primordial immortal world. It only held up about 100 cubic meters. "Good. Little fella, you're awesome." Lin Tian could not help but laugh. Although the little fella only held up about 100 cubic meters of space in the primordial immortal world, it was enough to help him pass through the tribulation. At that moment, he did not hesitate at all. He directly released his cultivation and rushed into the heavenly god realm. In an instant, it caused the sky to explode. A pitch-black lightning vortex immediately formed, and dense blood-red lightning leaped about like true dragons. Then, with a whoosh, he directly stepped into the primordial immortal world held up by the little fella. Whooshing Crocodile and little Taichu also stepped in together. "This is good." Whooshing Crocodile chuckled. The primordial immortal world was a real great world, and it contained endless power. It would have no problem resisting a heavenly god realm tribulation with its pure defensive power. Boom! The sky shook violently, and thunder roared. Heaven and earth were shrouded in darkness. At this time, Lin Tian was standing in the primordial immortal world held up by little Taichu. He could feel an extremely terrifying aura of destruction, but his expression was relaxed. "Come, strike to your heart's content." Chapter 1877. Thunder rumbled and blood-red lightning flashed, as if to destroy everything. The entire sky was about to explode. There seemed to be a supreme ruler within, and it seemed to be extremely dissatisfied with Lin Tian's provocation. Another explosion sounded out, and then the first round of tribulation lightning struck down, drowning the surrounding space in this round of tribulation lightning. In the blink of an eye, the lightning punishment came crashing down on Lin Tian. It landed on the primordial immortal world, intending to shatter Lin Tian inside. This aura was terrifying. Even in the primordial immortal world, Lin Tian couldn't help but tremble. Whooshing Crocodile and little Taichu were naturally frightened as well. Under this simple first round of lightning punishment, even a half-step divine king would be struck to death in an instant. However, the primordial immortal world was as strong as they expected. It blocked the lightning punishment directly. Even when the destructive power of this round of lightning punishment had completely dissipated, the barrier of light didn't even tremble. As expected of a greater realm that even the king of chaos and the other old farts coveted. "It's so tough." Whooshing Crocodile clicked his tongue, then looked at Lin Tian. "Speaking of which, your Empyrean tribulation is really scary. This is only the first round of lightning punishment, and it's already so powerful. How scary will the next ones be?" Lin Tian himself was also shocked. He had already predicted that the heavenly god tribulation this time would be very terrifying. But when he actually faced it, he realized that he had underestimated the power of the lightning tribulation this time. It was several times stronger than what he had expected. In the past, it wouldn't have been difficult for him to endure the first few rounds of lightning punishment. With the 5 heaven-shaking lightning technique and lightning divine Tao, he could even perfectly endure a tribulation. However, in the face of this lightning punishment, he realized that it would be difficult for him to even endure the first round of lightning punishment. When it came to the second round, he definitely wouldn't be able to endure it. "Is it because of the extra world seed in my body that the subsequent heavenly tribulations are even more powerful? He guessed. At this moment, thunder boomed in the sky. The second round of lightning punishment came crashing down. This was a field of lightning and fire, carrying with it a destructive heat. It came crashing down, destroying a large part of the void. In the blink of an eye, this field of lightning and fire came crashing down, enveloping Lin Tian in the primordial immortal world. However, the primordial immortal world was unimaginably strong. It easily blocked the second round of lightning punishment. This is the first time I'm standing in the center of your tribulation. This feeling is to frighten me. Whooshing Crocodile couldn't help but take a deep breath. It had seen Lin Tian undergo multiple heavenly tribulations after reaching the immortal transcendence realm. However, it had always watched from afar. This was the first time it had been in the center of the lightning tribulation, and it was the first time it had truly felt the destructive might of the lightning tribulation. If it wasn't for the primordial immortal empire, it reckoned that just that aura alone would be enough to destroy it. The little Taichu also shrunk its neck. It couldn't help but jump onto Lin Tian's head. It tugged on Lin Tian's hair and looked up. Through the light barrier of the primordial immortal world, it looked at the lightning and fire and other ordinary lightning that came crashing down. Luckily, I have this little guy's primordial immortal world. Lin Tian smiled. He was also looking at his own tribulation. The destructive aura was incredibly strong, but he was very relaxed. Immediately, he took action. He summoned the immortal Emperor Pagoda and took out the Chaos Stone Tablet. Then, he sent the immortal Emperor Pagoda out of the primordial immortal world. The immortal Emperor Pagoda contained a vast amount of power of faith. However, he wasn't worried that the power of faith would be destroyed by the lightning punishment. That power of faith was perfectly compatible with the immortal Emperor Pagoda. As long as the immortal Emperor Pagoda didn't disappear, the power of faith within it wouldn't disappear. It wouldn't be destroyed by the lightning punishment. The immortal Emperor Pagoda was made from the ultimate mystical material, primordial heavenly crystal. It was his ultimate mystical weapon. Although the heavenly god-level lightning punishment was terrifying, it couldn't destroy the immortal Emperor Pagoda. Even if an immortal emperor attacked, he wouldn't be able to destroy the immortal Emperor Pagoda without killing him. When he sent the immortal Emperor Pagoda out, it was immediately smashed to pieces. However, the primordial light didn't dissipate. Under the baptism of the tribulation, it became even purer and more crystalline. Boom, boom, boom. Thunder rumbled. After the second round of heavenly punishment, round after round of heavenly punishment descended. In the blink of an eye, there were 17 rounds of heavenly punishment, each more terrifying than the last. However, they were all easily blocked by the primordial immortal empire. After the 17th round of lightning punishment, the heavens trembled. The 18th round of lightning punishment descended. Boom! The heavens and earth trembled because of the appearance of the 18th round of lightning punishment. The destructive aura was at least 10 times stronger than the 17th round of lightning punishment. Lightning shadows formed one after another. There were angels with broken wings, headless knights, immortals with broken arms, ferocious ghosts, savage beasts, and blind blood shadows. It was as if they were really going to destroy the heavens and earth. Lin Tian's eyes narrowed. He could feel that this was the last round of lightning punishment of the heavenly gods' tribulation. The scene was the same. The last round of lightning punishment? Whooshing Crocodile asked. Lin Tian nodded. Yes. Whooshing Crocodile had a strange expression. Speaking of which, the last round of lightning punishment of your recent heavenly tribulations all looked like this. Could there be some special meaning behind it? Lin Tian frowned. He naturally had the same thought. However, he couldn't guess what it meant. Ignore it. Finally, he said, boom. The 18th round of lightning punishment was terrifying. The figures formed by the lightning seemed to be the source of all destruction. They crazily attacked the primordial immortal world. However, the primordial immortal world was really strong. With the little guy supporting it, it could be said to be an absolute defense. Even under the terrifying last round of lightning punishment, its light barrier didn't even tremble. It perfectly blocked the lightning until it dissipated on its own. Then, in the sky, the pitch-black lightning vortex trembled and dissipated. The place became bright again. The destructive aura disappeared completely in the blink of an eye. "It's over," Lin Tian said with a smile. This was the most terrifying heavenly tribulation he had ever undergone, but it was also the most effortless one he had ever undergone. Buzz! In the sky, when the pitch-black lightning vortex dissipated completely, rainbow auspicious clouds gathered like before. At this time, Lin Tian didn't continue to hide in the primordial immortal world. He stepped out. The rainbow auspicious clouds contained astonishing power of heaven and earth. It was a gift after the heavenly tribulation. It had unimaginable benefits for him. He stepped out of the primordial immortal world and guided the power of the rainbow auspicious clouds into his body. He used the Heart Sutra of Sun to refine and strengthen himself. In the blink of an eye, more than a quarter of an hour passed. The seven-colored auspicious clouds dispersed and disappeared. He used the power of the seven-colored auspicious clouds to stabilize his heavenly god realm cultivation base. His physical body became stronger, and the divine might in his body flowed like a divine river. It seemed like it would never dry up and would never be used up. His divine sense also underwent a qualitative change. Good. He clenched his fists. His eyes were bright. Chapter 1878. Lin Tian's heavenly god-tier divine power surged within his body. His entire body was shrouded in divine light, as if a god had descended upon the world. At this moment, there was no doubt about his power. Just a slight movement of his finger was enough to crush everything. He took a deep breath and waved his hand, summoning the fragments of the immortal Emperor Pagoda that were floating in the void. With a thought, the immortal Emperor Pagoda quickly reformed. There were more lightning runes on it, and it had an even stronger lightning aura. He was very satisfied with this. He was looking forward to seeing how far his divine origin weapon could grow in the future. "I'm finally a heavenly god. This aura is very powerful." Whooshing crocodile flashed over. At this moment, Lin Tian had not completely retracted his heavenly god aura. It could feel Lin Tian's aura up close and could not help but be shocked. It was indeed very powerful. "Yeah, you're very powerful." Little Taichu flapped its wings and flew over. It said in its childish voice. At the same time, it put away the primordial immortal empire. Now that Lin Tian had passed the heavenly tribulation, he did not need the primordial immortal empire for the time being. Lin Tian put the immortal Emperor Pagoda back into his body. He rubbed the little guy's little head and smiled. "It's all thanks to you, little guy. If it were not for the little guy's help in communicating with the primordial immortal empire, he would not have been able to pass the heavenly tribulation." "Yeah," the little guy responded in its childish voice. Its big eyes curved into crescents. It was very cute and innocent. Lin Tian smiled again, then tilted his head to look at the other parts of the Daffin divine land. At this moment, because he was undergoing the tribulation here, the ground within a radius of several thousand meters was completely damaged and scorched. The surface of the ground had sunk by several hundred meters, and there was still a faint aura of destruction in the air. "What should we do next?" Whooshing Crocodile asked. "We need to find something else. We need it in the process of nurturing the world seed into a real major world." Lin Tiandao. "Oh, I remember now. There was such a thing." Whooshing Crocodile nodded, then asked, "What was that thing again?" "Thousand-wood root, containing endless vitality," Lin Tiandao. Just like the mixed sacred source, this thing was also an extremely rare divine item. It was rumored that even if someone had died countless years ago, as long as there was still a trace of consciousness, this thousand-wood root could revive them. It was a true sacred medicine. If powerful cultivators were to refine it, they would be able to increase their battle prowess by more than twofold. Doubling one's battle prowess was terrifying because it was a permanent increase, not a temporary one. A permanent doubling of one's battle prowess was a fatal temptation to any cultivator of any realm. He told the whooshing crocodile Little Taichu about the miraculous effects of this divine item. The two beasts were immediately shocked. It really is a super godly item. Whooshing crocodile glared at him. For someone who had died countless years ago, even if they still had a trace of consciousness, they could still be resurrected. At the same time, after a cultivator refined it, no matter what level they were at, they could permanently double their combat strength. This was truly astonishing. Needless to say, even those who had surpassed the God Emperor realm would fight for it with all their might. Then do you know what this thing looks like? Do you know how to find it? It asked Lin Tiandao. Wherever it is, the life aura will be very strong, beyond imagination. Lin Tiandao said, as for what it looks like, I naturally know. An old drunkard told him to find the thousand-wood root, so naturally, he told him some information about the thousand-wood root, which was transmitted into his consciousness through divine thought. Immediately, he called the whooshing crocodile and Little Taichu to leave this place and head to other places in the Daffin divine land. Just as he had said, wherever Wan Mugen was, the surrounding life aura would definitely be strong beyond imagination. He only needed to follow this clue and go to the places in the Daffin divine earth where the life aura was denser. The Daffin divine land was very vast. Celestial mountains and ancient peaks were everywhere. They were really connected to each other, rising and falling like waves. He led the whooshing crocodile and Little Taichu to search in the Daffin divine land. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. In half a month, he walked through several places with strong life aura. However, he did not find the thousand-wood root. Instead, he found some other celestial herbs that contained boundless life aura, which were not of much value to them now. Boom! On this day, when they walked into another celestial mountain with a very dense aura of life, extremely shocking waves of divine might and demonic aura appeared in front of them. Waves of powerful shockwaves swept over from very far away, shattering many ancient trees. It seems like someone is fighting in front. The aura is not weak, and there is the pressure of a heavenly god mixed in it. However, it is a little weak, as if it is seriously injured. The whooshing crocodile said. Lin Tian raised his head. Because he had cultivated the delusion breaker divine eye, and his cultivation level had reached heavenly god level, his eyesight was naturally very powerful. He casually looked in the direction of the divine power shock waves. Originally, he just wanted to take a casual look. However, when he really looked over, he was slightly moved. There, a woman in blue was fighting with a ferocious beast. Divine power and demonic aura surged, shattering pieces of space. The woman in blue was obviously at a disadvantage. Her body was stained with many bloodstains, and her face was a little pale. It's her. He recognized this woman. Not long ago, he, the whooshing crocodile, and Little Taichu accidentally entered the Daffin divine land. A handsome young man wanted to kill them. This woman had spoken up for them and stopped the young man from doing so. Roar! A deafening roar resounded in all directions. Not far ahead, the ferocious beast that was fighting with the woman in blue was not very large. It was only about 10 feet tall. Its entire body was covered in pitch-black scales, which gave people a feeling that it was extremely hard. With a loud roar, the demonic aura shook, shattering a large piece of space on the spot and flipping the woman in blue over. The woman in blue was flipped over and flew for more than 1,000 feet before she could stabilize herself. However, just as she stabilized herself, the ferocious beast, which was about 10 feet tall, swooped down at an extremely fast speed. It directly stretched out its thick demonic claws and grabbed at the woman in blue. The woman in blue was immediately shocked because she had only just managed to stabilize herself. She had no time to dodge at all. When Lin Tian saw this scene, he naturally knew that the woman in blue would not be able to react in time. He immediately moved. His speed was very fast, and he stepped in front of the woman in blue in one step. Then, he directly raised his hand and punched at the approaching ferocious beast. In the next moment, his fist collided with the ferocious beast's claws. Puff! Blood splattered, and the ferocious beast's claws were immediately torn into pieces. Then its demonic body was directly sent flying for thousands of feet. "Are you okay?" He turned around and looked at the woman in blue. Chapter 1879. The lady in blue was a little surprised. She did not expect to see Lin Tian again in this place. At the same time, she was also surprised that Lin Tianyi had smashed the ferocious beast's claw with just one punch. Although she had seen Lin Tian and the Demon Shark clan's divine prince fight briefly and knew that Lin Tian's physique was very strong, this ferocious beast was very terrifying. Its demon body was even stronger than the Demon Shark clan's divine prince. But now, Lin Tian had smashed the beast's claw with just one punch. Did this mean that his physical strength was even stronger than the Demon Shark clan's divine prince? It's that girl. Whooshing Crocodile and Little Taichu also flashed over at this time. When they saw the lady in blue, they were just as moved as Lin Tian was at the beginning. When they first entered the Daffin Divine Land, this lady had said something to them. Naturally, they remembered it like Lin Tian. Roar! An earth-shattering roar rang out. In the distance, the ferocious beast that was knocked away by Lin Tian stood up. Its eyes surged with a terrifying light, and it directly rushed over again. As it moved, the surrounding space was shaken and distorted. The majestic demon aura seemed to be able to suppress everything. The aura was terrifying. So strong. It is definitely not weaker than an ordinary peak divine realm expert. Whooshing Crocodile was surprised. Lin Tian looked at the ferocious beast rushing over, but he did not care. He said to the lady in blue, "You rest first. I will deal with it." As soon as he finished speaking, he directly stepped forward. His movement was simple and direct. He pressed down with a punch. With a loud bang, as his punch pressed down, the surrounding space trembled as he fought with the ferocious beast. The ferocious beast was very strong. Its demon body was so strong that even Lin Tian could not help but be surprised. It was not much weaker than an ordinary king body. However, for the current him, it was naturally nothing. The tip of his fist carried traces of electric arcs. Every punch blasted out a large amount of demon blood. Large pieces of scales were smashed off the ferocious beast's body. This ferocious beast could not withstand it at all. Heavenly God Realm. The woman in blue couldn't help but be moved. While she was shocked by the fact that Lin Tian had completely suppressed the beast, she could also vaguely sense that Lin Tian's current level of cultivation had actually gone from half-step Heavenly God to Heavenly God domain. After reaching the Heavenly God realm, my physical body has become even stronger than when I fought against the Demon Shark clan's divine son. It's no wonder that I can easily suppress this beast. She muttered to herself. At the same time, her eyes flickered. Lin Tian was currently at the early stage of the heavenly deity realm, yet his physique was so terrifying. He was much stronger than many peak stage heavenly deities. This truly shocked her. Bang! 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 In front of him, Lin Tian threw out simple punches, landing them on the ferocious beast again and again. Muffled sounds rang out, forcing the ferocious beast to retreat again and again. Bright red demon blood floated in the air. In terms of pure physical strength, this ferocious beast was no match at all. Roar! The ferocious beast was enraged. It let out a loud roar, and a turquoise flame rushed out from its body, instantly burning down a large area of the void. The lady in blue was shocked. She hurriedly said, "Retreat. This is its demonic origin flame. It can even burn divine power and divine rules. You can't fight it head-on." Previously, she had suffered a great loss under this turquoise demonic origin flame and was severely injured. That was why she kept retreating. It can destroy divine power and divine rules. That's powerful. Lin Tian laughed to himself. Then let's try that thing. With a boom, he retracted his fist. A golden divine fire surged out from his body. It was the pure yang flame. He had not used such a divine fire for a long time. As soon as the golden pure yang flame appeared, an extremely scorching divine power surged. It collided with the turquoise demonic origin flame and instantly crackled. In the next moment, the turquoise demonic origin flame was ignited by the pure yang flame. In the blink of an eye, it was completely incinerated. Then, it enveloped the ferocious beast. Immediately, the ferocious beast trembled. It could not help but let out a shrill cry. It fell to the ground with a thud and struggled to roll around. A golden flame that can burn flames. This is the pure yang flame? The woman in blue was shocked again. She recognized the flame that Lin Tian had summoned. This kind of flame was rumored to be able to evolve continuously. It could truly burn everything. It was one of the most powerful divine fires in the world. She did not expect Lin Tian to have this kind of divine fire. Roar! The ferocious beast howled continuously. Its entire body was enveloped by the pure yang flame. It struggled with all its might. Its demonic power vibrated as it tried to extinguish the flames on its body. However, it was useless. After a quarter of an hour, in the midst of its tragic howls, its demonic origin flame was completely incinerated. Its body and soul were completely destroyed. It was also at this moment that Lin Tian's expression changed slightly. The ferocious beast had been incinerated by his pure yang flame. However, there was a fist-sized ball of light left behind. It was intertwined with very rich divine rule energy. He raised his hand and caught it in his hand. He looked at it curiously. At the same time, the woman in blue was shocked. The ferocious beast that possessed the divine rule fire that could incinerate divine power had been incinerated by Lin Tian's even more powerful divine fire. Then, she put away her shock and walked to Lin Tian's side. She bowed slightly. "Thank you for your help, my friend." If Lin Tian had not appeared to help her this time, she would not have been able to keep her life. Lin Tian heard her and turned around. He looked at the woman and said politely, "You're welcome, my lady." Back then, this woman had spoken up for them, even though she did not know them. He had a good impression of her. Seeing that she was in trouble, he naturally wanted to help her. As soon as he finished speaking, he showed the ball of light in his hand and asked the woman, "By the way, my lady, what is this?" The ball of light that he was talking about had floated out from the ferocious beast's body. It contained very powerful divine rule energy. However, he did not know what it was. Then he thought that the woman in blue should know about it. The woman in blue was a little surprised. "You don't know what this is?" "This is the first time I've seen it." "I don't know." Lin Tian told her the truth. Only then did the woman in blue remember that Lin Tian did not even know that this place was Dafan Holy Land. Therefore, it was normal that he did not know what this thing was. "This is divine essence," she said. "Divine essence?" Lin Tian was slightly surprised. He asked again, "What is it exactly?" At the same time, the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu flew over. They looked at the ball of light in Lin Tian's hand, and then looked at the woman in blue. "Well, it's like this," the woman in blue explained in detail. "The Dafan Holy Land is surrounded by drifting divine Tao precepts and pure divine Qi. The ferocious beasts and demonic beasts live here all year round and cultivate and grow. A portion of the divine Tao precepts and pure divine Qi absorbed into their bodies are difficult to refine and stay. They condense into divine essence, which is the ball of light in your hand. After the ferocious beasts and demonic beasts die, the divine essence condensed in their bodies will not dissipate temporarily. Cultivators can directly refine it to improve their cultivation and temper their own divine rule. It is very useful." Chapter 1880. Lin Tian's expression changed slightly when he heard the blue-clothed woman's words. The thing in his hand was called Divine Origin, and it had such a great use. Not only could it be used to raise one's cultivation base, but it could also be used to refine divine laws. Good stuff! Whooshing Crocodile's eyes lit up. This was definitely a treasure. It's very good, but it's only useful for cultivators below the Divine King realm. After reaching the Divine King realm, one's cultivation base has reached a new level, and the Divine Tao laws have become very pure. This divine origin won't be of much use. The blue-clothed woman said. Lin Tian nodded. In other words, the strongest person who has entered the Daffin divine land to train is no stronger than the divine king realm? The blue-clothed woman nodded. That's right. Lin Tion's eyes lit up. In this case, he could almost do whatever he wanted in the Daffin divine land. His cultivation base had reached the level of a heavenly god, and ordinary cultivators below the divine king realm would find it difficult to stop him. By the way, I heard that this place is called the Trial of 10,000 Tribes. Which big tribes have entered? How strong are they? He asked. When they had just entered the Daffin divine land, a woman had said that all the big tribes who are qualified to enter have already entered. Now that he thought about it, there must be many big tribes gathered here. In the future, he would have to spend a lot of time searching for the Wan Mugen. Therefore, it was necessary for him to know more about the big tribes. They are all ranked in the top 2,000 among the 10,000 tribes in the heavens. The blue-clothed woman said. Lin Tian opened his mouth. That which big tribes are ranked in the top 2,000? He knew that there were 10,000 tribes in the world, but he did not know the specific big tribes and their specific rankings. The blue-clothed woman could not help but be surprised. She said strangely, You're so powerful, but you don't know the rankings of the 10,000 tribes in the heavens? I don't know. Lin Tian said honestly. I don't know either. Whooshing Crocodile echoed. Yeah. Little Taichu's eyes were very bright. It looked at the blue-clothed woman and blinked. It seemed to express the same meaning as Lin Tianyi, the woman in blue. At this time, the man and the two beasts were looking at her. In her eyes, they were like three curious babies. The myriad races of the heavens refers to the fact that there are many great races in the world, not just 10,000 great races. However, the rankings only record the top 10,000 clans. I will use my divine sands to show you the information about these clans. She said. Then, three translucent divine senses flew out from her sea of consciousness and presented themselves to Lin Tian, Whooshing Crocodile, and Little Taichu at the same time. The three translucent divine senses contained many things about the races in the universe, such as the war race, the yin race, the flying serpent race, the zither race, the demon shark race, the feather race, the illusory wood race, the immortal eye race, the luo sha race, and many others. Among them, the races that were ranked in the top 2,000 were all very strong. They had one or two god monarchs guarding them and had been passed down for countless years. After reading this, Lin Tian immediately understood many things. However, because of this, he could not help but feel a little strange. What about the chaotic race? He asked. The divine senses that the woman in blue presented to them included the top 10,000 clans in the universe. Among them, the top few clans only had two god monarchs guarding them. Moreover, the strongest one was only at the early stage god monarchs. However, the chaotic race had at least 5 god monarchs guarding them. There were even peak god monarchs guarding them. However, the chaotic race was not ranked in the top 10,000 clans. This naturally made him curious. The chaotic race is very strong, very strong. They are much stronger than the number one race among the myriad races. Moreover, they are many times stronger. Therefore, they are not ranked in the myriad races. They are listed together with the nether race, the ashy race, the ghost race, the evil race, and the mysterious ancient race. The woman in blue said. After pausing for a while, she added, It is said that these clans have existed for a very long time. Moreover, they seem to have some kind of close connection with a world that is higher than this universe. It is very mysterious. Hearing this, Lin Tian understood that the chaotic race was called one of the 6 legendary races in this universe. As for the upper world that the woman in blue mentioned, and the close connection between the chaotic race and the upper world, he was not surprised. This was because the 12-winged sacred emissary that the King of Chaos had summoned had called their universe a lower world. Therefore, he naturally guessed that the chaotic race came from a higher world. At the same time, he could naturally see that the chaotic race that the King of Chaos was in had a close connection with a higher world. The nether race, the ashy race, the ghost race, the evil race, and the mysterious ancient race. These 5 clans, he muttered to himself. Could it be related to the nether king, the Sakura, the holy king Luan Zhuan, the evil ancestor and the Grand Supreme? From the looks of it, it seems to match. What are you muttering to yourself about? The woman in blue asked curiously as she listened to his muttering. Nothing. Lin Tian smiled and shook his head. After pausing for a while, he thought of something and asked, Then, do you know about the immortal spirit royal family? Why aren't they in the top 10,000 clans? Among the top 10,000 clans in this universe, he saw the dragon race and the phoenix race. However, the immortal spirit royal family, which was revered by the dragon race and the phoenix race, did not have a name, just like the chaotic race. As for the chaotic race, the woman in blue said that it was one of the 6 legendary clans. She also mentioned the other 5 clans, but the immortal spirit royal family was not among them. Hearing his question, the whooshing crocodile could not help but look at the woman in blue. It also wanted to ask the same question. Little Taichu also stared at the woman in blue. After all, it was from the immortal spirit royal family. You know about the immortal spirit royal family? The woman in blue was a little surprised. Lin Tian was a little surprised. He did not know why the woman in blue was surprised, but he said, I heard someone mention it by chance. They're very powerful and are not weaker than the chaotic race. He naturally would not say that the little Taichu in his group was from the immortal spirit royal family and had seen the immortal spirit royal family before. You actually heard about this from someone else. The person who mentioned this must be very extraordinary. The woman in blue spoke, and her expression became very solemn. I only heard about this by chance from the ancestor of the clan. Even the ancestor himself knows very little about this clan. He once said that the existence of this clan is a taboo. Taboo? Lin Tian's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? The immortal spirit royal family that little Taichu was from was a taboo clan? I don't know what it means exactly. The ancestor of the clan did not know either. He only knew that this clan was unimaginably powerful. They had very few members, but their bloodline was very invincible. It was even more terrifying than the chaotic body and other king bodies. I think only the legendary reincarnation body could beat them in terms of physique. Chapter 1881. Lin Tian and the 5-element crocodile both looked at little Taichu after hearing the blue-clothed woman's words. The little Taichu was from the royal family of the immortal spirit tribe. They knew that its bloodline was powerful, but they didn't know that it was called a forbidden tribe. Yeah. The little Taichu blinked innocently at Lin Tian and whooshing crocodile. Lin Tian and whooshing crocodile were speechless. It's so small and adorable. I really can't see how it can be called a forbidden tribe. Whooshing crocodile muttered. Lin Tian paused. It seemed that the blue-clothed woman didn't know much about the little guy's tribe. He didn't ask further. He could ask the immortal spirit emperor about this the next time he saw him. The immortal spirit emperor should know the details. Then he thought of something else and asked the blue-clothed woman, Oh right, you mentioned the upper realm. Do you know anything about it? He was indeed very curious about the so-called upper world. I know a little, the blue-clothed woman said. There's a place called the Celestial Void Realm in the heavenly realms we're in now. It's really vast and boundless. The Daffin Divine Land, which is no smaller than the immortal realm, is said to be a piece of broken earth that fell from the Celestial Void Realm during an ancient battle. What? Lin Tian was shocked. Whooshing crocodile couldn't help but exclaim, his eyes almost popping out of their sockets. The Daffin Divine Land, which was no smaller than the immortal realm, was just a piece of broken earth that fell from the Celestial Void Realm. A single piece of earth was able to transform into an ancient region that wasn't the slightest bit smaller than the immortal region. Then, exactly how vast was that celestial void world? The man and the 2 beasts were deeply shocked. This was too shocking. Lin Tian took a deep breath and asked, Then, where is the celestial void realm? How do we enter it? I don't know where it is exactly. As for how to enter, my ancestor mentioned it before. It seems that one has to cross the Emperor God realm to sense the existence of the celestial void realm and then know how to enter it. The blue-clothed woman said. Lin Tian was shocked again. One had to cross the Emperor God realm to sense the existence of the celestial void realm and know how to enter it. This made him feel even more strongly that this so-called celestial void realm was truly extraordinary. After a pause, he looked at the blue-clothed woman and asked again, Emperor God Realm, what realms are there after the Emperor God Realm? As he asked this, he felt a little embarrassed. He had already asked the other party a lot of questions. Well, I'm sorry. I really don't know about these things, but I really want to know. The lady in blue smiled and continued. I'm not sure what's after the Divine Emperor realm. Even the old ancestor of my clan doesn't know. We only know that the Divine Emperor realm isn't the end of cultivation. Lin Tiandao was slightly disappointed. He thought that the blue-robed woman would know about the matters after the God Emperor realm. Lin Tian, it doesn't matter. As long as it's something I know, I'll answer it for you. The blue-clothed woman looked at Lin Tiandao. Lin Tian blushed with shame. Hearing the woman take the initiative to ask if he had any more questions, he was a little embarrassed. Then he thought for a moment and smiled. I have something to ask. What's your name? I'm Lin Tian. He had asked a series of questions, but he had never asked for her name. It was somewhat rude. The blue-clothed woman was slightly stunned. Then, she smiled gracefully. Qin Clan, Qin Jin. Lin Tian nodded and asked, Are you the only one from the Qin clan who entered the Dafan Divine Land to train? He looked at Qin Jin. She seemed to be alone. Not really. There are other sisters. It's just that when the elders sent us here, they deliberately separated us in order to let us train ourselves and not rely on each other. Qin Jin said, The sky of the Dafan Divine Land was blue, and the immortal spiritual energy in the air was very dense. Lin Tian and Qin Jin chatted for a while. Then, he looked at the Shen Yuan in his hand and handed it to Qin Jin. He smiled and said, That beast was your initial goal, right? This Shen Yuan is for you. Qin Jin couldn't help but roll her eyes. You killed that beast and saved me. How can I take this Shen Yuan? At the same time, she told Lin Tian how to refine Shen Yuan to fully utilize its effects. It was a method deduced by the big clans after tens of thousands of deliberations. It was not a secret, but she felt that Lin Tian definitely didn't know this method. Because before, Lin Tian didn't even know that this place was the Dafan Divine Land, and he didn't know what Shen Yuan was. In the end, Lin Tian accepted the Shen Yuan. At the same time, he thanked Qin Jin again, thanking her for telling him the method to effectively refine Shen Yuan. Because after knowing the effect of Shen Yuan, he planned to look for the Wan Mugen in the Dafan Divine Land. Together with the Wuxing crocodile and the little Taichu, they would also kill the ferocious birds and beasts. They would take the Shen Yuan from these ferocious birds and beasts to improve their cultivation and refine their divine laws. If Qin Jin didn't tell him this method, after they obtained the Shen Yuan, they could only refine it simply and directly. In that way, the effect of the Shen Yuan obtained would be greatly reduced. Roar! They were now in a celestial mountain. There were many ferocious birds and beasts inside, and there were astonishing cries of beasts. At this moment, not far away, an ancient bird of about 3 feet long appeared. Its whole body was surrounded by a faint purple mist, and it rushed toward this place. There was a lot of blood on its body, and a lot of its feathers had fallen off. It was seriously injured, but its speed was very fast. Its eyes were filled with panic and anger. At the same time, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out. 3 figures rushed behind it, and their bodies were surrounded by the aura of the gods. Bastard, your speed is very fast. However, in front of me, the Son of God, you can't escape. Obediently accept your death, and let me take out your Shen Yuan. Among the 3 people, a handsome young man sneered, with a trace of arrogance and domineering. His speed was also very fast. He chased closely behind the ancient bird, and the distance between them was constantly shrinking. Lin Tian happened to be in the direction of the ancient bird. Naturally, he saw the handsome young man and couldn't help but be stunned. Io, enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. I just broke through to the God realm, and I met this guy. Wuxing crocodile also saw the handsome young man. Like Lin Tian, he was stunned for a moment, and then couldn't help but laugh sinisterly. Little Taichu also saw the handsome young man and said to Lin Tian in a childish voice, "Beat him up." Chapter 1882. The ancient bird was about 10 meters long and covered in blood. It fled at top speed. Luo Wancheng and two other young men chased after it. They were all heavenly gods, and their auras were very strong. "Kill him," the Wuxing crocodile said, following the little Taichu's words. Lin Tian, of course, would not be polite. He stood where he was and said nothing. He waved his hand, and a golden sword energy shot out. With a clang, the ear-piercing sound of the sword reverberated. It split the air and arrived in front of Luo Wancheng in the blink of an eye. Luo Wancheng was shocked. He quickly moved to the side, dodged the sword, and stopped. At the same time, the other two young men behind him also stopped. "Who dares to obstruct this son of God? Attack me," Luo Wancheng said coldly, looking in the direction of the sword energy. Then he saw Lin Tian. "It's you." In an instant, his eyes revealed an even colder light, full of murderous intent. At the same time, the other two young men behind Luo Wancheng naturally recognized Lin Tian. Not long ago, when Luo Wancheng killed Lin Tian, they were nearby and saw everything. A few days ago, you fled in panic like a stray dog. Now you appear in front of my clan's divine son and dare to take the initiative to attack. Have you eaten the courage of a leopard these days? How are you going to escape this time? If you can't escape, will you kowtow to my clan's divine son and beg for mercy?" One of them sneered. He was dressed in black, and his face was full of sarcasm and ridicule. Lin Tian's gaze moved away from Luo Wancheng and looked at the man. Meeting Lin Tian's gaze, the man sneered again. "What's wrong? Unhappy? Do you want to kill me? You can kill, boom." The sound of thunder was ear-piercing, interrupting the man's words. Lin Tian's mind moved slightly, and a purple lightning bolt fell from the sky, carrying the fierce and domineering power of the 5 heaven-shaking thunders incantation. It directly enveloped the man. With a puff, the man exploded on the spot. He did not even have time to scream or leave a drop of blood. He was directly annihilated by the purple lightning. "That's what happens when you have a cheap mouth." Wuxing crocodile sneered. Qin Jin's expression changed. She naturally knew that the purple lightning came from Lin Tian. Seeing Lin Tian kill the young man from the Demon Mermaid clan so easily, she couldn't help but be surprised. After all, that person was a mid-stage heavenly god. The other youth behind Luo Wancheng was also moved. Originally, when he heard the black-clothed youth of his clan ridicule Lin Tian, his face had a sneer and ridicule, but at this time, the expression on his face directly froze. This, the black-robed young man, was the same as him, a middle-stage heavenly god. However, he was killed by Lin Tian just like that. What kind of combat power was this? Luo Wancheng's face became even colder. Lin Tian had actually killed a member of his Demon Mermaid clan in front of him. Heavenly deity stage. No wonder a little worm like you dares to appear in front of me again. At this moment, he could see Lin Tian's cultivation level. His expression was still cold. "Early heavenly god, although you have some ability, you are still a worm." Lin Tian didn't say anything and directly walked towards the other party. In the next moment, his pace suddenly became faster, leaving afterimages with each step. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Luo Wancheng and directly slapped him. A worm will always be a worm, no matter what. It's not enough. Luo Wancheng raised his fist and punched towards Lin Tian. The tip of his fist carried wisps of black light, and the aura was terrifying. With a bang, his fist was so powerful that it shook the void and roared. It was like a meteor falling towards Lin Tian. In the blink of an eye, one palm and one fist collided. Bang! With a muffled groan, Luo Wancheng was immediately blasted away. He continuously retreated dozens of steps before he could stop. The expression of the young man who was still alive beside Luo Wancheng changed again. He was also a disciple of the Demon Mermaid clan. At this time, when he saw this scene, he was somewhat incredulous. Their clan's divine son's cultivation was at the peak of the heavenly god stage, and his physique was incomparably strong. Now, when he punched towards a human, he was blasted back dozens of steps, while the human didn't move a single step. I only used 20% of my strength, and you can't take it anymore? Lin Tian opened his mouth. As soon as these words came out, the expression of the young man who was still alive behind Luo Wanqing changed again. That palm just now, this human in front of him only used 20% of his strength? How was it possible that 20% of his strength could repel their clan's divine son? Even Qin Jin was moved. Although she knew that Lin Tian's physique was very terrifying, stronger than that of the heavenly god stage beast. But now, after Lin Tian sent Luo Wanqing flying with his palm and said that he only used 20% of his strength, she still couldn't help but be shocked. Just 20% of his strength had such power? When you were dealing with that beast before, you were far from using all of your physical strength. Just the strength of the physical body. Even the barbarian king physique of the same realm can't compare, right? She was shocked. Luo Wanqing stabilized his body, and his expression became somewhat ferocious. He was actually blasted back by this human again, but the other party stood firmly in the same place and said that he only used 20% of his strength. 20% of your strength? Pretentious, he said coldly. Naturally, he didn't believe that a human at the early stage of the heavenly god stage could repel him with just 20% of his strength. That was simply a big joke. Not far away, the ancient bird covered in blood was no longer being chased. It glanced at Lin Tian and then fled again, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. Luo Wanqing naturally saw this, but he didn't stop it. At this time, he only wanted to kill Lin Tian. Boom! Waves of divine power gushed out from his body, and a black light surged. He stepped straight toward Lin Tian and pressed down with a great divine power. "Die worm," he said ruthlessly. The black light rolled, and a huge wave of destruction rushed out from behind him. It was completely condensed from divine power, and its aura was terrifying. Lin Tian's expression didn't change at all. He stepped forward and slapped out again. 50% of my strength? With a buzzing sound, his big hand slapped out. There was no divine power entwined, and it was completely pure physical strength. In an instant, it shattered Luo Wanqing's divine power. Then the palm didn't change and landed steadily on Luo Wanqing's body. Immediately, with a puff, blood splattered everywhere. Half of Luo Wanqing's body was directly smashed. Blood dyed some of the white divine flowers on the ground red. He flew hundreds of feet away, smashing dozens of ancient trees in a row before he came to a stop. Blood gushed out of his mouth. He looked at Lin Tian in shock and anger. He was shocked because Lin Tian had used pure physical strength to shatter his divine power and injure him. He was angry because half of his body had been shattered by the worm in his eyes. It should be known that his original form was the immemorial demon shark, and his bloodline was incomparably pure. It was far from being comparable to others of the same generation in the clan. The bloodline of many of the clan's elders was even more astonishing. Naturally, his physique was very strong, not much weaker than the brute king physique of the same level. But now, Lin Tian had shattered his divine power and half of his body so easily. Lin Tian completely ignored the man's shock and anger. He stepped forward calmly and pressed toward him. "Do you know why the flowers are so red?" Not far away, the whooshing crocodile glanced at the white flowers on the ground that had turned the color of blood. He answered for Luo Wanqing with a mocking tone, stained with blood. Chapter 1883. Listening to the words of whooshing crocodile and little Taichu, Luo Wanqing was furious to the extreme, especially when little Taichu said in a childish voice that it was dyed in shark blood. It was too harsh for him. This was a blatant humiliation. "You two beasts, I'll kill you first." He quickly repaired his physical body and temporarily abandoned Lin Tian at this time. He summoned his heavenly, god-level divine power and pressed it toward whooshing crocodile and little Taichu, his destructive power surging. Lin Tianling snorted. He raised his hand, and slapped the other party's divine power toward whooshing crocodile and little Taichu, smashing it into pieces. Then, he stepped forward and forced the other party again. 70% strength, he said indifferently. When he finished speaking, he still raised his hand and slapped the other party. With a buzzing sound, the void was directly shattered by him, and in the blink of an eye, it fell in front of Luo Wancheng. Bang! With a muffled sound, Luo Wancheng was once again sent flying. Half of his body exploded again, and the blood was somewhat eye-catching. Seeing this scene, Qin Jin couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression again. Lin Tian was now only at the early stage of the heavenly god realm, but with pure physical strength, he was able to injure Luo Wancheng, who was at the peak of the heavenly god realm, again and again. This was somewhat frightening. The other young man from the Demon Mermaid clan, who followed Luo Wancheng, was even more trembling. The divine son of their clan was seriously injured again. Worm! Luo Wancheng roared, his face looking even more ferocious. Monstrous divine power surged, and the earth in this place shook. When this aura came out, even as strong as Lin Tian was now, he was slightly moved. This aura was indeed very frightening, and it actually made him feel pressured. Of course, this pressure was not very big, and it was far from enough to make him care. It was no big deal. He stepped forward, and his speed was very fast. This time, he no longer attacked with pure physical strength. Instead, he summoned his divine power and waved the Chaos Emperor fist toward the other party. Dong! As he swung the primal Chaos Emperorian fist, a vast and mighty golden fist radiance blasted through Luo Wancheng's divine might. With a poof, it pierced through Luo Wancheng's chest, causing more blood to spill out, dyeing the ground red. Son of God! The young man following Luo Wancheng couldn't help but cry out. Luo Wancheng's chest had been pierced through, and blood was flowing out. After stabilizing himself in the distance, his eyes were bloodshot. He was the deity prince of the demon mermaid's race, a peak heavenly god, and yet he was repeatedly wounded by a mere early-stage heavenly god human. Roar! He opened his mouth and roared like a wild beast. Then his body shook violently, directly revealing his original form, a demon shark. His entire body was covered in black, ancient patterns, and his sharp teeth seemed to be able to stir up waves in all directions. The divine might that interweaved became even more terrifying and shocking. Kill! He roared madly and pounced directly at Lin Tian. Lin Tian narrowed his eyes. After his opponent revealed the demon shark's original form, his aura was obviously many times stronger than before. At this time, it actually gave him real pressure. However, he still didn't care, nor was he afraid. With a cold snort, he met his opponent head-on and swung the primal Chaos Emperorian fist again. Today, I'm going to grill fish, he said as he swung the primal Chaos Emperorian fist one after another. With the power of extreme yang, he fought against Luo Wancheng's original form. Boom! 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 The two of them fought fiercely, and their divine might fluctuated, shattering the thick ancient trees in the barren ancient celestial mountain into pieces. In the blink of an eye, this fight lasted for a full quarter of an hour. During this time, the two of them were almost equally matched. However, as time continued to pass, Luo Wancheng's disadvantage was revealed. Although he revealed his original form, his combat strength was still inferior to Lin Tian's, and he began to lose ground. Bang! With a muffled sound, Lin Tian swung his fist and directly blasted Luo Wancheng into the ground. Then, he raised his hand and followed up with a thunderbolt. With a rumble, the thunderbolt sank deep into the ground and directly exploded. Luo Wancheng's body was covered in blood, and he was blasted out of the ground. Many of the gravel around him were completely dyed red. Clang! Lin Tian swung his sword, and golden sword rays fell like rain, piercing through Luo Wancheng. Blood splattered everywhere. Luo Wancheng was extremely shocked and angry. He roared hoarsely, "Damn worm!" Bang! Lin Tian appeared in front of him and slapped him, interrupting his words and sending him flying. Several sharp teeth of the demon shark, about 5 inches long, fell out of his mouth and crushed the ground. Luo Wancheng lost. Qin Jin's eyes flickered. Luo Wancheng was the divine son of this generation of the Demon Shark clan, and he was at the peak of the divine realm. The Demon Shark clan was ranked more than 800 among the thousands of clans in the heavens, but now he was suppressed by Lin Tian, a human cultivator in the early divine realm. This really shocked her. "Kill him." Wuxing Crocodile laughed. "Kill him," little Taichu echoed in a childish voice. In front of them, muffled groans were constantly heard. At this point in the battle, Luo Wancheng was completely no match for Lin Tian. After being hit by Lin Tian's fist again and again, cracks had already appeared on his sturdy body, and blood was constantly oozing out. Even if he summoned his divine weapon, he was completely no match for Lin Tian. He was smashed into pieces by Lin Tian's Chaos Emperor Fist. Divine Son, how is this possible? The last youth of the Demon Shark clan who followed Luo Wancheng trembled. The divine son of their clan was really defeated. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of fists landing on flesh was constantly heard. Lin Tian's expression was calm. The Chaos Emperor Fist carried a golden divine power, directly suppressing Luo Wancheng to the point that he had no room to fight back. Finally, in the midst of an ear-piercing dragon's roar, Lin Tian blasted out a huge true dragon fist shadow with the Chaos Emperor Fist, blasting Luo Wancheng to the ground. Then, he landed a foot on his body, directly breaking 90% of his bones. "I'll give you a chance to say your last words." Looking at Luo Wancheng under his foot, Lin Tian's voice was very calm. Luo Wancheng was bleeding, and he looked at Lin Tian ferociously. "If you dare to kill me, my Demon Shark clan will exterminate your 9 generations. Are you threatening me?" Lin Tianling laughed with some disdain. "You're making me so scared." After saying that, with a clang, a golden sword chi appeared in his hand and directly chopped at Luo Wancheng's head. "Stop!" At this moment, a loud shout rang out. Not far away, a group of young men and women appeared. There were at least a dozen of them, and one of them made a move. A large expanse of divine light directly bombarded Lin Tian. The speed of the divine light was very fast, and it was powerful and fierce. The might of the heavenly gods was very strong. The golden sword chi in Lin Tian's hand that was chopping at Luo Wancheng changed direction, directly shattering the divine light. At this time, with whooshing sounds, the dozen young men and women appeared several feet away from Lin Tian. "Let go of fellow Luo," one of the young men said in a deep voice. He wore a purple robe, and his aura was very strong. He was at the peak of the heavenly god realm. It's common for fellow Taoists to fight and learn from each other. You're too vicious to kill like this. Let him go. Chapter 1884. In the Daffin Divine Land, at this time, the major clans had sent many disciples into this area to train. Some of the outstanding disciples of the major clans happened to be in this area. They sensed a very amazing divine power vibration in this place, and came to take a look, but they did not expect to see the scene of Luo Wancheng being suppressed by Lin Tian. "What are you waiting for? Let go of Brother Luo." The purple-robed youth who spoke first shouted again. At the same time, the other young men and women also spoke, berating Lin Tian, asking Lin Tian to quickly let go of Luo Wancheng. Qin Jin spoke at this time, transmitting her voice to Lin Tian. They are the young practitioners of the Dei clan, the Chamo clan, the Turbid Forest clan, and the Baihuang clan. Among the thousands of clans in the heavens, their ranking is lower than that of the Demon Mermaid clan. Seeing that the divine son of the Demon Mermaid clan is in trouble, they want to join forces to save him and get closer to Luo Wancheng. She said, this is an opportunity for them because Luo Wancheng is already the next master of the Demon Mermaid clan. If they save Luo Wancheng at this time, they will do him a big favor. In the future, when Luo Wancheng really becomes the master of the Demon Mermaid clan, they will benefit greatly. Lin Tian nodded when he heard this, and instantly figured it out. Then, he looked up at the dozen young men and women and said, Don't say that I didn't warn you. This is a grudge between me and Luo Wancheng. No matter what you are planning, I will only give you one chance. Get out of here as far as you can." As soon as he said this, the eyes of the dozen young men and women turned cold. They felt that Lin Tian was too arrogant, daring to be so arrogant in front of a dozen of them at the same time. "Fellow Taoists, don't waste your breath on him. Please kill him quickly and save our clan's divine son. Our clan will reward you handsomely." The young man of the Demon Mermaid clan, who was with Luo Wancheng, said. At this time, seeing so many peak divine realm masters appear and speak up for their divine son, he immediately knew what these people were thinking. He felt that he and their divine son should be safe. After all, no matter how strong Lin Tian was, it was impossible for him to block a dozen peak divine realm masters. Among these people, several were divine sons and saintesses, and their battle strength was not much weaker than their divine son. "Don't worry, Brother Luo Wancheng will be fine," the purple-robed young man said. "Look at how arrogant and despotic he is. I don't think he will let go of Brother Luo obediently. There's nothing more to say." A green-robed man said. "Let's attack together," another person said. Beside him, the others nodded in succession and said, "That's right. Let's act together and help Brother Luo escape earlier." These people wanted to save Luo Wancheng and get closer to Luo Wancheng. In the future, they would benefit a lot. However, they also knew one thing in their hearts. Lin Tian was able to suppress Luo Wancheng, so his combat strength was definitely not weak. If they attacked alone, they wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. Therefore, attacking together was the best choice. It was absolutely safe. At that moment, the dozen or so people immediately moved. They attacked in unison, each casting their divine power arts and bombarding Lin Tian. With a rumbling sound, the dozen or so streams of divine power merged together and cooperated with each other, creating a murderous aura that was powerful and intimidating. Lin Tianling looked coldly at this group of people. He had nothing to say. He used the four-symbol seal to imprison the severely injured and dying Luo Wancheng in place. Then he took a step forward and directly waved the chaotic emperor's fist, bombarding with 100% of his physical strength. Dong! With a loud bang. As the fist pressed down, the divine power arts cast by the dozen or so people were all smashed to pieces. At the same time, the momentum of Lin Tian's fist did not diminish. It broke through the fragments of divine light and landed on the purple-robed young man. With a poof, the purple-robed young man's physical body was directly smashed to pieces. This person was shocked. He quickly reformed his physical body and retreated. He never thought that the power of Lin Tian's fist would be so terrifying. At this time, he felt a chill run down his spine. Lin Tianling snorted and directly raised his hand. Divine light surged, and the four-symbol seal appeared again, sealing the sky and trapping the earth. He grabbed the purple-robed young man. Wang! He grabbed the man's neck. The sword light of heaven in his palm pulsed, mixed with a peerless, murderous aura. It was about to shatter the man's skull and obliterate his divine soul. However, in the next moment, his expression suddenly changed. He revealed a strange smile. The sword light of heaven in his palm disappeared and turned into a blood-red pill seal. It directly entered the man's body, and then with a bang, he threw the man aside. Then he moved again. He displayed the duality steps and moved at full speed, leaving behind afterimages in the void. He moved quickly in this place and launched the most violent attacks at the other dozen or so people. Under the shocked expressions of the dozen or so people, it took him half an hour to beat all of them to the ground. Each of them was injected with a blood-red pill seal. How is this possible? The young man of the Demon Mermaid clan changed his expression and couldn't help but tremble. More than a dozen divine god peak powerhouses were together, but now they were all swept away by Lin Tian. Qin Jin was also moved. Once again, she recognized the strength of Lin Tian. She realized that she had underestimated Lin Tian before. His battle prowess is comparable to that of the divine princes of the top 10 clans in the myriad of clans in the universe. She was shocked. The purple-robed young man and a total of 17 people were all swept away by Lin Tian. All of them were severely injured. Many of them couldn't help but groan. Most of them had blood in their mouths. Looking at Lin Tian's expression, they were terrified and couldn't help but tremble. The human in front of them was too strong. More than a dozen of them joined forces, but they couldn't withstand Lin Tian's attacks. Lin Tian glanced at the dozen or so people. At this time, he opened his mouth and said, "This time, I will be merciful and not kill you. After this, you all must obediently collect divine essence for me. Each of you must bring me at least 10 balls of divine essence every day." Hearing his words, the dozen or so people were stunned at first. Then they all revealed angry expressions. "You want us to be your coolie to collect divine essence for you, and you just sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labor? That's what I mean. This is the price for your lives." Lin Tian on Dao. The dozen or so people were even more shocked and angry. They all gritted their teeth, but they didn't argue. "Okay," the group of people said, so one after another. Now, they could only agree to Lin Tian, because if they didn't, only death would await them. However, while they agreed, they were sneering in their hearts. At this moment, they agreed. After that, they would leave to collect divine essence and leave this region, never to return. Could it be that Lin Tian would chase after them one by one? How could he know where they would be after this? Lin Tian looked at the dozen or so people's expressions. How could he not see what they were secretly planning at this moment? The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. "I guess you must be thinking in your hearts now. At this time, if you agree to deal with me on the surface, then leave this place and never come back. What can I do to you at that time? Am I right?" As he said so, he continued, "I advise you to not be so naive. Otherwise, the consequences will be very serious." As he spoke, he formed a seal with one hand and slightly moved his mind. Chapter 1885. Mournful screams resounded in this place. The dozen or so young talents trembled and rolled on the ground. This scene shocked the whooshing crocodile, little Taichu, and Qin Jin. "You? What did you do to us?" Someone amongst the 10-plus young geniuses let out shrill cries and spoke with terror. "Nothing much. I just left some poisoned seals in your bodies." Lin Tian smiled. "Now, the poisonous mother seal is in my hands. If you don't listen to me, I only need to use my mind to shatter the mother seal, and you will suffer unimaginable pain. If I shatter the mother seal directly, you will all be finished." Previously, he was prepared to kill the dozen or so people directly. However, after thinking about it, there were many ferocious beasts in Dafan Holy Land, and they all had divine vitality in their bodies. These divine vitality could be used to improve one's cultivation and refine one's divine laws. Moreover, because it was condensed from the pure divine laws and divine chi between heaven and earth, there were no side effects. Therefore, this divine vitality was very valuable to him, the whooshing crocodile, and little Taichu. Therefore, why not suppress these people and let them collect divine vitality for them? There was strength in numbers. Moreover, it would take time for him to search for the myriad Mugen. Therefore, he changed his mind and did not kill these dozen people. Instead, he inserted a poison seal recorded in the medicinal codex into their bodies. The mother seal was in his hands. As long as he was willing, he only needed to shatter the mother seal in his hands, and the pill Dao poison seal in these people's bodies would directly collapse, easily taking their lives. It would be useless even if these people fled to the ends of the world. This was because the poison seal was refined from his essence blood and could ignore the issue of distance. You poison us? How can you do this?" At this time, Lin Tian did not use his mind to shake the mother seal. The pain of the group gradually dissipated, and they were all shocked and angry. "I didn't kill you directly, which is good enough for you. Don't be ungrateful. You want to kill me directly." Lin Tian squinted at them. "You didn't kill us because you wanted us to be your coolie." The dozen or so people glared at him. "Then, should I kill you directly?" Lin Tian Dao. As he spoke, he shook the mother seal of hypertoxic poison. The dozen or so people immediately trembled again, and all of them let out shrill screams. Stop! Stop! We, we will collect divine essence for you. Stop! More than a dozen people screamed in pain. Lin Tian glanced at them from the corner of his eyes and stopped vibrating the mother seal. Wouldn't it have been better if you had done this earlier? Why did you have to suffer a little before giving in? The pain of the dozen or so people gradually dissipated. Looking at Lin Tian, their faces were incomparably ugly. Many of them clenched their fists, feeling both anger and regret. They were angry that Lin Tian had actually treated them like this. They regretted that they shouldn't have gotten involved in this muddy water for the sake of obtaining some benefits from Luo Wancheng. Now, they had fallen into such a situation, having to be a coolie for someone else. Wuxing Crocodile and Little Taichu watched this scene with wide eyes. Brett, you're so bad. However, Lord Crocodile liked it. This idea is simply too ingenious. Wuxing Crocodile couldn't help but laugh. In the Daffin divine land, the divine essence in the bodies of many fierce beasts was a treasure. It was a great use to them. Now Lin Tian had suppressed more than a dozen peak gods. Instead of killing these people, he planted poison in them and let these people collect the divine essence for them. This was definitely much faster than them collecting the divine essence themselves. After all, there was strength in numbers. Moreover, these people were not weak. All of them were peak gods. Qin Jin was a little dumbfounded. She was also shocked by this scene. Lin Tian actually treated more than a dozen people like this. Several of them were the divine sons of some big clans. After that, they were reduced to being coolies for others. The young man of the Demon Mermaid clan who followed Luo Wancheng was also stunned. The scene in front of him was beyond his imagination. Lin Tian stepped forward at this time and came in front of Luo Wancheng, who was suppressed by the four-symbol seal. "Have you thought of your last words?" he asked. Luo Wancheng had now revealed his true body. Although he was suppressed by the four-symbol seal and couldn't move, he didn't give in at all. On the contrary, his expression became more ferocious. He said fiercely, "My clan's old ancestor will soon step into the middle stage of the God-Emperor realm. You'd better let this divine son go. Otherwise, if this divine son is in trouble, you and those related to you will die." Io, threatening? So what if you have a God-Emperor ancestor? You're talking as if there's no one behind you. Do you believe that I'll ask Little Lin's perverted master to make a trip to your Demon Mermaid clan? I'll wipe out your entire clan in minutes. Wuxing Crocodile sneered. Don't talk nonsense with him. Tonight we'll grill fish. Lin Tian said, a golden sword aura condensed in his hand. Without hesitation, he slashed down. Luo Wancheng roared in anger. Stop. Pooh. Blood splashed out, interrupting his words. The golden sword aura condensed by Lin Tian was a great ability from the High Heaven Sword scripture. It was also mixed with his Thunder God law. After it slashed into the other party's head, it directly shattered his sea of consciousness and soul. In an instant, Luo Wancheng stopped moving. Such a scene made the dozen or so young talents who were suppressed by the poison seal tremble uncontrollably. This was a divine son of the Demon Mermaid clan, and Lin Tian actually killed him directly. You dare to kill my clan's divine son. Another young man from the Demon Mermaid clan who followed Luo Wancheng panicked. My clan's elders and old ancestor won't let you go. You'll definitely die without a burial place. Lin Tian tilted his head and looked at this person. He had nothing to say. With the 5 thunder skies shaking art, a purple thunderbolt descended from the sky and smashed this person into pieces. Not even a drop of blood was left behind. His body and soul were destroyed. This person, who had previously incited the dozen or so young men to kill him, had a sinister look in his eyes. In addition, he was a member of the Demon Mermaid clan. At this moment, he spoke such words. How could he be merciful? Luo Wancheng's demon body was huge. When he fell to the ground, his blood dyed many places red. Lin Tian called the Wuxing Crocodile and the Little Taichu to directly attack. In this place, under the stunned gazes of the dozen or so young talents who were suppressed by the poison seal, and Qin Jin. Luo Wanqing's demon body was skinned, and then a raging fire was raised to roast it. Golden oil droplets began to float. After being burned by the fire, they sizzled. The dozen or so young talents trembled and their eyes widened. Before, they heard Lin Tian say that he wanted to kill Luo Wanqing to make grilled fish. Originally, they thought that Lin Tian was just casually saying it. They didn't expect that Lin Tian would actually do it. Chapter 1886. The golden oil droplets fell and sizzled when they came into contact with the fire. In the blink of an eye, the aroma of meat wafted out. Soon, the entire demon shark's body was roasted. Yeah, little Taichu liked Lin Tian's so-called barbecue very much. His eyes sparkled as he started to eat. It's really good to have such a meal once in a while, Wuxing Crocodile said as he ate. Lin Tian took some and handed it to Qin Jin. Qin Jin stared and immediately shook her head. She didn't have a good impression of Luo Wanqing, but she wouldn't eat his demon body. Lin Tian didn't force it. He then looked at the other young men and women who were staring at them and said, "Come over if you want to eat, don't be shy. I have always treated captives well." Hearing his words, the dozen of them couldn't help but tremble. No, no, no. The dozen of them shook their heads in fear. This was the demon body of the Demon Shark clan's divine son, roasted by Lin Tian. If they ate it and the Demon Shark clan found out in the future, they would be in big trouble. Lin Tian glanced at them and said, "Then go to work and collect divine origin." He continued, "A friendly reminder, don't think about detoxifying yourself or asking others to detoxify. It's useless. Even the divine king can't do it. The divine emperor in your clan can, but as far as I know, it seems that the old guys of your clans threw you here to train for 3 years. During this process, they won't pay attention to you. You can't go out, so they can't help you." He learned this from Qin Jin. At the latest, send a batch of divine origin back every 2 days. If there is a delay, I will think that you won't be able to come back. At that time, you know what the outcome will be. He said. The dozen of them had ugly expressions. They were angry in their hearts, but they didn't dare to refute. They immediately turned around and left. Qin Jin looked at this scene and couldn't help but stare. More than a dozen peaked divine gods. A few of them were the divine sons of the various clans. Now, they were forced by Lin Tian to work hard to collect divine origin for Lin Tian. Lin Tian didn't care about this at all. He continued to exterminate the roasted mermen in this place with Wuxing Crocodile and Little Taichu. As expected of a heavenly god tier beast, it's really good. Zither girl, are you sure you don't want some? Wuxing Crocodile asked Qin Jin. There's really no need. Qin Jin refused immediately. How could she eat it? Soon, the entire roasted demon shark was completely wiped out, leaving behind a pile of bones on the ground. It was also at this time that Qin Jin bade farewell to Lin Tian. She was preparing to go on an adventure and collect the god laws to temper her body. Lin Tian opened his mouth, inviting Qin Jin to join them. There were more than 10 heavenly deities working hard to collect divine origin energy for them. After that, they would share a portion of the divine origin energy with Qin Jin. However, Qin Jin politely declined. Thank you for your good intentions. However, coming to the Daffin Divine Earth to gain experience isn't just to collect divine yuan. Fighting the vicious beasts here is also a part of the experience. I want to experience them all and truly temper myself. Qin Jin said so. Lin Tian no longer forced her. He smiled and said goodbye to her, watching her leave. After that, he Wuxing Crocodile and Little Taichu stayed in this place. In the blink of an eye, more than a day had passed. The dozen or so young talents returned one after another, bringing back a total of more than 300 balls of divine origin energy, all of which exuded pure divine might. Not bad. Keep up the good works. Lin Tian was very satisfied and encouraged them. More than a dozen people had a lot of injuries on their bodies. They were left behind in the process of fighting with the vicious beasts to collect divine origin energy. They were extremely dissatisfied with Lin Tian's encouragement and were furious. However, they didn't dare to say anything and directly turned around to leave. They didn't want to see Lin Tian too much. Lin Tian laughed and didn't mind. Then, he gave half of the 300 balls of divine origin energy and the one he had obtained earlier to the whooshing crocodile. He and little Taichu shared the remaining half equally. Because his cultivation had reached the heavenly god realm, his need for divine origin energy wasn't as high as the whooshing crocodiles. Although little Taichu hadn't reached the heavenly god realm yet, it had the primordial immortal empire. Refining the primordial immortal empire was enough to raise its cultivation. The divine origin energy given to the little guy was mainly used to refine the god law, not to raise its cultivation. Refine, refine, refine. Whooshing crocodile howled. Then, one man and two beasts refined the divine origin energy in this place at the same time. 3 different kinds of light danced in this place. Soon, the group finished refining the divine origin energy one after another. Their cultivation had become stronger, and their god law had become more condensed. Among them, whooshing crocodile benefited the most. After all, it got the most divine origin energy. This thing is really a treasure. After a few more times, Lord Crocodile will be able to break through to the middle stage true god realm. Whooshing Crocodile said excitedly. Time continued to pass. 1 man and 2 beasts stayed in this place, quietly waiting for more than a dozen people to collect divine origin energy. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. In 3 months, 1 man and 2 beasts had refined a lot of divine origin energy. Whooshing Crocodile used divine origin energy to raise its cultivation and directly reach the peak true god realm from the early stage true god realm. Little Taichu used divine origin energy to refine the god law and at the same time absorb the power of the primordial immortal empire to cultivate, reaching the peak of the half-step heavenly god realm. Lin Tian used divine origin energy to raise his cultivation and refine his god law at the same time. The divine Tao law in his body became more condensed, and his cultivation reached the peak of the early stage heavenly god realm. There wasn't much distance between him and the middle stage heavenly god realm. At the same time, in these 3 months, Lin Tian looked for traces of Wan Mugen, but there were no clues. We've already collected divine origin energy for you for 3 months. During this time, we didn't train at all. How much longer do you want us to collect divine origin energy for you? 3 months had passed, and the dozen youths who had poison seals in their bodies couldn't stand it anymore. They gritted their teeth and asked Lin Tian. In these 3 months, Lin Tian had given them a mission. Each of them had to collect a certain amount of divine origin energy every day. Otherwise, the poison seals would flare up again. After that, they had exhausted all their energy just to complete this mission. They didn't have the time to work hard for themselves at all. They were completely reduced to tools for Lin Tian to collect divine origin energy. When would these days come to an end? Lin Tian glanced at them. Of course it's to collect until your training ends, or until the 3 of us reach the God King realm. Didn't I tell you? What? Until our training ends? Until the 3 of you reach the God King realm? You, don't go overboard. The dozen youths were furious. Lin Tian's expression was calm. This is the price for your lives. If you don't want to continue being coolies, then I'll shatter the mother. Boom! Suddenly, the entire Dafin Holy Land shook violently. It was as if an apocalyptic earthquake had occurred, interrupting his words. Rays of dazzling demonic light suddenly surged out of the Dafin Holy Land from the north, south, east, west, and other major regions. They were glowing figures. Every figure exuded a fierce and tyrannical aura. The weakest of them was at the heavenly god tier. Boys, go and train as well. Don't leave a single invader alive. Kill them all. Eat their flesh and drink their blood. A cold voice rang out. It was mixed with a terrifying pressure that caused the entire sky to tremble. Chapter 1887. The cold voice resounded throughout the Dafin divine land, carrying a terrifying aura that caused the entire sky to tremble. This aura was definitely not weaker than a god emperor's. There's a god emperor level great ominous beast here? Lin Tian was shocked. At the same time, he was able to discern some information from the voices. It seemed that there was a powerful ruler in the Daffin Divine Land who was dissatisfied with the experts of the myriad races who had entered. The experts of the myriad races had entered the Daffin Divine Land to temper themselves, killing numerous birds and beasts for divine origin energy. Now, the ruler had sent out juniors to target the participants of the myriad races who had entered the Daffin Divine Land. Swoosh! 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 More dazzling demonic lights rushed up from the north, south, east, and west regions, all mixed with extremely fierce auras. At the same time, the roars of the birds and beasts in the Daffin Divine Land became unprecedentedly fierce, shaking all directions as if they were going to collapse the earth. In the blink of an eye, there were waves of astonishing divine and demonic power fluctuations in the area around them. Among the demonic shadows that had rushed out from different areas of the Daffin Divine Land, many of them had found the trial takers of the myriad races who had entered to train. At this time, a bloody massacre had begun. This is chaos. Whooshing Crocodile couldn't help but stare. At the same time, the dozen young talents who had been suppressed and poisoned by Lin Tian also turned pale. This Daffin Divine Land, there's a force like the myriad races? How is this possible? Some people were shocked. Like Lin Tianyi, they saw the situation and found it hard to believe. This was because the Daffin Divine Land had always been a training ground for the outstanding disciples of the myriad races. Every once in a while, experts of the myriad races would enter this place, but they had never discovered the existence of a powerful force. But now, according to the scene in front of them and the cold voice from before, there was clearly an extremely powerful force in this place. In any case, this ancient domain is not much smaller than the immortal domain. Why is it impossible for there to be some powerful forces here? Lin Tian glanced to the person who spoke. Almost as soon as he said this, a demonic figure suddenly appeared in this place. Its body was tall and sturdy, and it carried a very violent aura. Little grasshopper from a foreign land? Die! This demonic shadow had the appearance of a young man. He stood alone in the void and looked down at Lin Tianyi and the others. He raised his hand, and a large amount of demonic light blasted down. Lin Tianwei was slightly moved. This man had come too suddenly, and he hadn't sensed him approaching. Moreover, the man's aura was very shocking. With his current cultivation, he actually felt a considerable amount of pressure. Golden divine radiance interweaved around his body. His reaction speed was extremely fast as he enveloped the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu and moved 300 meters horizontally. At the same time, miserable cries rang out. The other dozen or so youths did not react as quickly as him. They were immediately struck by the demonic light that was swept down by the young man. No one was able to withstand it, and all of them were turned into ashes. Such a scene made Lin Tian's expression change again. These dozen or so youths were all at the peak of the divine realm, but now they were all wiped out just like that. He raised his head and looked at the young man who suddenly appeared in the void. He couldn't help but slightly squint his eyes. Wisps of divine radiance emerged from his eyes. This guy is a bit terrifying. He killed more than a dozen peak divine realm experts with a wave of his hand. Among them, there were quite a few divine sons of several large clans. Whooshing Crocodile was a bit shocked. Even the little Taichu couldn't help but stare at the young man in the void. This person was really extraordinarily strong. The ants from a foreign land aren't weak, but how can they be compared to us? We have truly grown up by fighting all the way until now. We were born for battle. The young man in the sky had a violent aura around him, and the cold arrogance in his eyes was not concealed at all. He looked down at Lin Tian and said, "You're not bad. You actually avoided the attack just now. You're a bit stronger than ordinary ants." As he spoke, he raised his hand, and demonic light gathered in his hand. He still had a cold and arrogant expression. "However, although you're a bit stronger than ordinary ants, you're still ants. Since you trespassed into my land to train, you'll forever sleep on this land. Your corpses and blood will be turned into fertilizer for this land. Boom! In his hand, the demonic light that contained a violent aura turned into a beam of demonic light and pierced straight toward Lin Tian. The void was pierced through. Lin Tian didn't move. He directly slapped out, and with a swoosh, he smashed the demonic light that was falling toward him. The young man was moved. Not bad. You can even block this. It seems that you're not an ordinary ant. Compared to swoosh, the sound of something breaking through the air interrupted him. Lin Tian took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of the young man. The young man's eyes narrowed, and he was shocked by Lin Tian's terrifying speed. You slap. Lin Tian raised his hand and slapped him. With a golden divine light, he was sent flying and landed on the ground with a bang. Then, he took a step forward and stomped on the young man's chest, breaking half of the young man's sternum. Little demon, you're much stronger than those people. However, don't be arrogant in front of me. You're nothing in front of me. He looked down at the young man and said. He could see that the young man's original form was a ferocious bird demon. In other words, none of the creatures in the great Brahma Holy Land were humans. They were all demons. Little demon? The young man was furious. He was about to enter the half-step divine king realm. Now, he was being stepped on by a human and called a little demon. The aura around his body became even more violent. I'll kill you, he roared coldly. Demonic light rolled and shook the ground. An extremely powerful aura rolled out from his body. Lin Tian's expression did not change. He raised his right foot and stomped on the young man's chest again. With a bang, the young man coughed out blood and could not help but groan. Little demon, behave yourself. You're nothing in front of little Lin. You have no room to resist. Whooshing Crocodile looked at the young man and said, this young man was not weak. In fact, he was very powerful. However, compared to Lin Tian, who was about to enter the mid-stage divine realm, he was not much of a threat. You're courting death. The young man's mouth was filled with blood. When he heard Whooshing Crocodile, a true god cultivator, call him a little demon, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Damn, how dare you stare at your Lord Crocodile? You're asking for a beating. Whooshing Crocodile was unhappy. He took advantage of the fact that Lin Tian was stepping on the young man's face. In the blink of an eye, the young man's face was bruised and swollen. All right, don't beat him up. I'll search for something, Lin Tian said to Whooshing Crocodile. He suppressed the young man and sent his divine sense into the young man's sea of consciousness to search for any powerful forces in Daffin Divine Earth. Previously, Qin Jin had mentioned some things about the Daffin Divine Earth to him. However, Qin Jin didn't know as much as this young man who was born in the Daffin Divine Earth. He wanted to search for Wan Mugen in the Daffin Divine Earth. The more detailed his understanding of the Daffin Divine Earth, the better. If he could directly find clues about Wan Mugen, that would naturally be better. In this way, half an hour passed quickly. There are indeed many powerful inheritances and divine emperors. A light flashed across his eyes. Chapter 1888. Searching the young man's sea of consciousness, he found that there were many ancient clan inheritances in Daffin Holy Land. They were not weak, especially the Blood Silkworm Ridge, the Eternal Mountain, the Nine-Lee Cave, the Primordial Rock Island, and the Nine Illusion Snake. They all have mid-stage emperor gods, and more than one. They are not inferior to the top 10 clans of the 10,000 clans. He muttered to himself. A strand of his divine consciousness entered the young man's sea of consciousness. In the next moment, he was moved again as he saw a special place. Sky Pass Valley. His eyes shone with a brilliant light. From the young man's sea of consciousness, he learned that Sky Pass Valley was located in the southeast region of Daffin Holy Land. It was the oldest forbidden area in Daffin Holy Land. Just at the edge, there was an extremely strong aura of life. If a withered branch was thrown in, it would instantly grow green leaves. The aura of life was so strong that it could not be dispersed. It was amazing. At the same time, according to the information in the young man's Sea of Consciousness, many emperor gods in Daffin Holy Land had vaguely seen the shadow of a world in the depths of Sky Pass Valley. The mountain range was so tall that it was frightening. It was unknown how many times more amazing it was than the celestial mountains in Daffin Holy Land. They all thought that it was a space-time miniature of the heavenly void realm. They believed that there was a space-time portal to the heavenly void realm in the depths of Sky Pass Valley. However, even though Sky Pass Valley contained many great mysteries that people yearned for, it was also extremely terrifying. It was shrouded in fog and filled with extremely strange and bizarre energy. Once, several god emperors from Daffin Holy Land had entered the depths of Sky Pass Valley to explore. However, not long after they entered, they heard screams of agony. After that, there was no more movement. The soul lamps of life in their respective clans had shattered, indicating that those people had died inside. After that, no one in Daffin Holy Land dared to enter Sky Pass Valley. It had become a synonym for death. His pupils constricted as he was moved by this matter. He then withdrew his divine consciousness from the young man's Sea of Consciousness and told Whooshing Crocodile and Little Taichu about it. Whooshing Crocodile and Little Taichu could not help but be shocked. There's actually a space-time portal to the celestial void world in the depths of the valley. Is this for real? Whooshing Crocodile glared at him. They already knew that the heaven void world was a big world that was much more ancient, vast, and superior than the one they were in now. Even the peak divine emperors didn't know how to enter it, but in this Daffin divine land, there was actually a space-time portal that could lead to the heaven void world. The possibility is not small. Didn't Qin Jin say before that this Daffin divine land is rumored to be formed from a piece of broken earth that fell from the heaven void realm? It itself is related to the heaven void realm. In this case, it is very reasonable that there is a path to the heaven void realm. Lin Tiandao continued. In addition, there is one more thing that I am very concerned about. The aura of life there is so dense. Dead trees can be reborn once they enter. Is the 10,000 wood root there? He said. Hearing his words, Whooshing Crocodile's expression changed. The possibility is very high. The 10,000 wood root was a divine object of heaven and earth. It was rare in the world, and the place where it existed must have an extremely dense aura of life. After listening to Lin Tiandao's words, the possibility of the 10,000 wood root being in that place was very high. Yeah. Even the little Taichu stared and said in a childish voice, "You want to go there?" Lin Tiandao nodded. "Let's go and take a look." The 10,000 wood root in the Daffin divine land was his biggest goal. Now that he knew a place that was very likely to contain the 10,000 wood root, even though that place had even swallowed divine emperors and was extremely dangerous, he still had to go and take a look. Maybe we can enter the heaven void realm from there and go to a higher world. It will be endlessly beneficial to our cultivation. Whooshing Crocodile's eyes lit up as if he had already seen the door to the heaven void realm. It's best not to have this idea. Rumor has it that the door to the heaven void realm is located in the deepest part of the heaven void valley. Several divine emperors were buried there. At most, we can walk around the periphery and see if there are any 10,000 wood roots. Lin Tiandao said. He was also looking forward to going to the heaven void realm. However, he also knew that many divine emperors had died trying to enter the heaven void realm from the depths of the heaven void valley. If they went there now, it would be tantamount to suicide. At this time, the young man who was suppressed by him had already fainted under his violent soul search. He raised his hand and pointed a finger, directly crippling his cultivation. Then, he called Whooshing Crocodile and Little Taichu and headed in the direction of the heaven void valley. From the young man's Sea of Consciousness, he learned a lot about the heaven void valley. Naturally, he also knew the location of the heaven void valley. They were very fast. In the blink of an eye, they had traveled far away. Boom, boom, boom. Along the way, divine light surged and boiled in this space. Many places were shaking. The trial takers of the 10,000 clans who entered here were fighting with the ancient clan experts in the Daffin divine land. Many places were splashed with blood, and screams were heard. Trial takers of the 10,000 clans are at the bottom. Lin Tiandao's eyes narrowed slightly. The experts who belonged to the Daffin Divine Land had a special aura on them that was easy to identify. Those who did not have such a special aura were naturally the trial takers of the 10,000 clans. These people were mostly in a miserable state now. Puff! In the distance, a trial taker of the 10,000 clans at the middle stage of the divine realm was cut into pieces. His divine soul was caught in the hands of an expert from the Daffin Divine Land and crushed directly. Ah! A shocking scream came from the east. A Daffin Divine Land expert who was more than 10 feet tall opened his mouth and swallowed a trial taker of the 10,000 clans. Demonic light surged and directly refined the trial taker of the 10,000 clans in his mouth. So fierce! Whooshing Crocodile trembled. It was really in line with the ancient voice that came from the Daffin Divine Land. Eating flesh and drinking blood. Even little Taichu widened his eyes and shrunk his neck. Lin Tiandao did not care. The person who was swallowed had nothing to do with him. He called out to Whooshing Crocodile and little Taichu and hurried on. Foreign food? A cold voice sounded. Not far away, the Daffin Divine Land expert saw Lin Tiandao, Whooshing Crocodile, and little Taichu. With a sinister smile, he opened his mouth and sucked in the air. Demonic aura surged violently. Lin Tiandao, Whooshing Crocodile, and little Taichu were immediately enveloped by this demonic aura and were pulled into the opponent's mouth. Obviously, the opponent wanted to swallow them like he had swallowed the trial taker of the 10,000 clans. Lin Tiandao was swept up in this demonic aura. He directly attacked, punching the Daffin Divine Land expert across the air. With a boom, a dazzling light beam jumped out from the tip of his fist, followed the billowing demonic aura, and entered the mouth of the Daffin Divine Land expert. With a poof, it pierced through the opponent's bloody mouth and head. Blood splattered all over the sky. Chapter 1889. The millstone-sized palm slapped down. The Daffin Divine Earth powerhouse was clearly enraged by Lin Tian. Rumbling sounds could be heard as the space collapsed wherever the giant hand passed. It was clear just how terrifying its strength was. Lin Tian's expression did not change at all. He raised his hand and slapped. Poof! Blood splattered. The Daffin Divine Earth powerhouse's arm was directly smashed into pieces. Moreover, a strong force spread out and landed on his body, causing his entire body to explode. Whoosh! A ray of light rushed out. It was the divine soul of the Daffin Divine Earth powerhouse. When he looked at Lin Tian again, his previous ferocious expression disappeared. At this time, there was a trace of fear. It was also at this time that Lin Tian attacked again. His action did not change. He still slapped. You! Stop! Poof! Soul light burst out. This person's divine soul was directly smashed. Such a scene was naturally seen by many nearby cultivators. There were trial takers of the 10,000 clans and powerhouses who belonged to the Daffin Divine Earth. At this time, all of them were moved. That is Shi Chintuan of the Stone Fire Ancient Land. He is known for his physical strength. He is at the peak of the heavenly god realm. However, he was defeated and killed by a foreign human with his physical body. Nearby, the powerhouses of the Daffin Divine Earth revealed shocked expressions. Lin Tian did not care about this. He directly called Whooshing Crocodile and little Taichu to leave. They continued to go to the Heavenly Passage Valley. You dare to be presumptuous in my Daffin Divine Earth. You want to leave? Kill him. A cold voice sounded. Nearby, many powerhouses of the Daffin Divine Earth directly surrounded. There were more than 10 of them. Each of them had a majestic demonic aura. They did not speak much and attacked as soon as they came. All of them were at the peak of the heavenly god realm. In an instant, more than 10 waves of tyrannical divine power surged, mixed with thick and intimidating demonic aura that seemed to be able to annihilate everything. Don't look for trouble, Lin Tianling said calmly. With a wave of his hand, a large expanse of golden energy swords appeared. A sonorous, ear-piercing sword chime reverberated in the air. The majestic demonic power unleashed by the dozen experts was instantly shattered. At the same time, the golden sword aura did not diminish in the slightest. Instead, it swept out and sent the dozen experts flying. Blood splattered across the void. This, for a time, even more cultivators from the Brahma divine earth were shocked. The trial takers of the myriad clans nearby were also shocked. A single sword strike sent more than 10 peak deities flying. What kind of battle prowess was this? Which clan's divine child is he from? This? I don't know him. Among the myriad races, I don't think I've heard of such a person. All the trial takers stared at Lin Tian. Lin Tianyi swept away a dozen experts from the great Brahma divine land with his sword, but he didn't kill them. He didn't want to waste time. So he called out to the whooshing crocodile and the little Taichu and left for the sky-reaching valley. Stop! An indifferent voice rang out. High up in the sky, two figures stood together. They were experts from the Dafan divine land, and they had been observing everything. They noticed Lin Tian and saw him kill Shurchintuan and send more than 10 experts from the Dafan divine land flying with a single sword strike. At this moment, one of them spoke and walked over. This was a tall and slender man. Purple light flashed in his eyes, and his blue hair was extremely dazzling. This is the holy son of Jiuli Cave. It's said that he's about to enter the divine king realm. The holy son of Jiuli is here. All around, the experts from the great Brahma divine land were shocked. Their eyes fell on the holy son of Jiuli with reverence. You want to do it yourself? Another figure walked down from the heavens. His eyes were dark green, and there was a vertical line of blood in them. He gave off an evil feeling. This caused the experts from the great Brahma divine land to be shocked again. The holy son of Blood Silkworm Ridge is here too. Like the holy son of Jiuli, it's said that the holy son of Blood Silkworm is also about to enter the divine king realm. The experts from the great Brahma divine land were shocked. They did not expect the holy sons of Jiuli Cave and Blood Silkworm Ridge to be here. Jiuli Cave and Blood Silkworm Ridge were among the 5 most powerful ancient lineages in the great Brahma divine land. Naturally, they were shocked to see the holy sons of Jiuli Cave and Blood Silkworm Ridge together. The holy son of Jiuli had purple light circling his eyes and body, giving him a sacred feeling. He did not seem like a demon at all. He said to the holy son of Blood Silkworm Ridge, I won't necessarily do it. After saying that, his eyes fell on Lin Tian. He said calmly, You're very good. I admire you. Are you willing to work for me? I won't kill you. As soon as he said that, the experts from the great Brahma divine land were shocked again. The holy son of Jiuli wants to recruit this person from the foreign territory. Many experts from the great Brahma divine land were shocked. Some of the trial testers from the myriad tribes were also shocked. Even the holy son of Blood Silkworm Ridge was slightly surprised. He did not expect the holy son of Jiuli Cave to recruit Lin Tian. Lin Tian glanced at the holy son of Jiuli and did not say anything. He called out to the whooshing crocodile and little Taichu and turned to leave. The holy son of Jiuli was indeed terrifying. He made him feel a slight threat of death. However, it was only a slight threat. He did not care at all. What kind of attitude is this? How dare he act like this in front of the holy son of Jiuli Cave? Insolent person from the foreign territory. You're courting death. Seeing that Lin Tian did not respond to the holy son of Jiuli's words and turned to leave, some experts from the great Brahma divine land revealed a cold expression. They thought that Lin Tian was too arrogant. Your recruitment has failed. He completely ignored you. The holy son of Blood Silkworm smiled evilly at the holy son of Jiuli. In the face of the holy son of Blood Silkworm's ridicule, the holy son of Jiuli's expression did not change. He was still indifferent. Then I can only kill him, the holy son of Jiuli said. As soon as he finished speaking, the wind and clouds suddenly surged in all directions. Purple light and mist surged out from all over the place. As the purple mist surged out, a terrifying aura spread out. The experts from the great Brahma divine land and the trial testers from the myriad tribes could not help but tremble. This aura was too heavy. It was as if it could suppress everything. It was as if it could easily erase their lives. Their spiritual souls could not help but tremble. Wisps of purple mist surged toward Lin Tian. Lin Tian stopped and tilted his head slightly to look at the holy son of Julie. At this moment, he felt a terrifying aura pressing down on him from all directions. It was as if it was going to crush him. "I will only give you one chance. If you miss it, you will die," the holy son of Julie said indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, the purple mist that emerged from all directions pressed down on Lin Tian. "He's dead meat. It's a great honor to be invited by the holy son of Julie, but he refused. It's a great sin. Killing him is letting him off easy," many experts from the great Brahma divine land said coldly. The purple mist surged in patches and pressed down on Lin Tian in the blink of an eye. Get lost. Chapter 1890. The purple thunder dragon carried a thunderous aura with it. Its power was terrifying. He broke the nine holy sun's divine power and counterattacked. The experts of the Daffin divine land were shocked. The nine holy sun was the strongest young expert of the nine cave, and the nine cave was one of the 5 most powerful ancient lands of inheritance in the Daffin divine land. The strongest expert of the same generation in such an ancient land, even if he only released a small strand of his aura, was very terrifying. But now he was blocked and even counterattacked. Boom! Thunder roared. The thunder dragon appeared in front of the nine holy sun with thunderous aura. The nine holy sun's expression changed slightly. He smashed the thunder dragon with his palm. "Not bad. You've exceeded my expectations. I'll give you one more chance. Submit to me and work for me. Otherwise, die." Looking at Lin Tian, the nine holy sun spoke again. His tone was calm, but it gave people a sense of superiority, as if he was the ruler of this world. "I'm warning you. If you dare to attack again, you'll have to bear the consequences." Lin Tiandao. As soon as he finished speaking, he called out to the whooshing crocodile and little Tai Chu and left again. The nine holy sun's eyes flashed. He took a step forward, and an endless purple glow surged around him. This time, the purple demonic glow appeared. An even more terrifying aura intertwined and manifested. It seemed to be able to seal the world. "I cherish talents. Unfortunately, you don't know what's good for you," the nine holy sun said. In the next moment, the purple demonic light transformed into countless demonic shadows. The shadows were indistinct and boundless as they pressed down on Lin Tian in a mighty manner. It was as if they were real. They brought about waves of galloping sounds as if they wanted to destroy everything. The aura was stronger than before. Lin Tian's eyes narrowed. "You guys retreat for now." He told the whooshing crocodile and little Tai Chu to stay away from him. Then he threw a punch at the other party. With a thud, he waved the Chaos Emperor fist. The overbearing fist power was rampant and turned into a golden fist. Swish! Swish! Chi! The sky full of demonic shadows that the nine Saint Sun summoned were shattered one by the fist radiance. He blocked the nine holy sun again. The nine holy sun has already used his divine skill, but he is still that human. What kind of fist art is that? It's as if it can destroy everything. The great Brahma divine land's experts were shocked. Even the divine son of the blood silkworm ridge was moved again. He narrowed his eyes and said, "This human is not weak." He knew how powerful the holy son of the nine holy sun was. The divine skill that he had just used was also extraordinary. However, it was shattered by Lin Tian's fist. The power of the fist made him feel a little scared. The nine holy sun's expression did not change, but his eyes darkened. He was the holy son of the nine cave, one of the 5 great ancient lands of the Daffin divine land. But now, he had been rejected when he invited others to work for him. In front of the other Daffin divine land cultivators, he had failed to suppress Lin Tian several times in a row. For him, This was considered a loss of face. Boom! In an instant, the purple demonic light outside his body became denser. He had really started to attack. A purple demonic will surged out and pressed down on Lin Tian. Moreover, with a clang, a purple flag appeared from his body. It was intertwined with dense and mysterious divine runes. Brilliant unification flag. The origin divine weapon of the Nine Li Holy Sun. A peak divine weapon. Many great Brahma divine land experts were shocked. As the purple demonic wheel and the purple flag appeared, they could not help but tremble. Even a few half-step divine kings were no exception. Under such an aura, their divine souls could not help but tremble. Apart from the divine Tao law, the Nine Li Holy Sun has used all his strength. He's actually so direct. Some people were shocked. In the distance, Wuxing Crocodile and Little Taichu had already retreated far away from Lin Tian. At this moment, facing such an aura, they could not help but shrink their necks. This bastard agility is really scary. This aura is simply... Wuxing Crocodile shuddered. It was also at this moment that the Nine Li Saint Child's demonic wheel arrived in front of Lin Tian with a rumbling sound. The unifying brilliance flag, which was a heavenly divine weapon, also came crashing down. Lin Tian felt the power of this attack and was secretly shocked. This saint of the Nine Li Holy Sun was really strong. However, even though the other party was powerful, it was not enough to make him feel fear. If you like to fight head-on, then let's see who's tougher, he said indifferently. With a boom, the Sun Heart Sutra was activated, and golden divine light pierced through the clouds. The High Heaven Sword Sutra was activated by him at the first moment, and it evolved into dense golden sword chi. The clanging sounds were endless, and they slashed towards the other party. Then he swung his primal chaos emperor fist again. His fist radiance soared into the sky, and the sound of it shook the heavens. Boom! 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 In the blink of an eye, the two of them clashed. Divine powers and demonic powers clashed, causing the surface of this place to collapse inch by inch. After that, dozens of breaths passed in the blink of an eye. The two of them were equally matched. It's completely blocking the Nine Li Holy Sun. How is this possible? The surrounding experts of the Dafan Holy Land gradually changed their expressions. The nearby trial takers of the myriad tribes were also shocked. They were all stunned by Lin Tian's combat strength at this moment. This which divine son of the myriad tribes is he from? He's definitely a divine son and saintess of the top 10 tribes. Why haven't I heard of such a person in the myriad tribes before? Some trial takers of the myriad tribes were shocked. The holy son of the Nine Li Holy Sun's eyes darkened and his face turned cold. He didn't look good because he had already used his full strength except for his divine Tao. Not many people under the divine king realm could withstand his attack. However, Lin Tian had blocked his attack completely. He wasn't any weaker than the holy son of the Nine Li Holy Sun. On the other side, Lin Tian's eyes narrowed. He had used almost 90% of his combat strength. An ordinary half-step divine king would definitely not be able to withstand it, but the Nine Li Holy Sun had blocked it without showing any signs of weakness. Not bad, you're not much weaker than me. It's really a pity to kill someone like you. The Nine Li Holy Sun spoke again. His tone was colder than before. However, you're not willing to be used by me, so you're destined to be killed by me. As soon as he finished speaking, with a boom, the divine Tao appeared outside his body. At this moment, he really began to use all his strength. Die, he said coldly. The divine Tao, Ninely divine skill, and brilliance unification flag shook and pressed on Lin Tian from all directions at the same time. For a moment, demonic power surged violently. It was appalling. This, the Nine Li Holy Sun's real, full strength. The human can't block it this time. He's definitely finished. All around, the experts of the Dafan Holy Land said so. Many people looked at Lin Tian and couldn't help but sneer. In their eyes, Lin Tian was already a corpse. This is your full strength? If so, then lie down obediently. It was also at this moment that Lin Tian's voice sounded. It was still indifferent. With a boom, the reincarnation diagram directly rushed out from behind him, and the divine Tao of thunder and divine Tao of nature manifested together. With a rumbling sound, it instantly shattered the divine Tao and divine skill that the nine-li Holy Sun wielded. The Brilliance Unification Flag, a peak divine weapon, was sent flying thousands of feet away. At the same time, Lin Tian stepped forward and appeared in front of the Holy Sun in a flash. He directly slapped the Holy Sun's cheek. With a crisp slap, the Holy Sun was directly slapped to the ground. When the Holy Sun came into contact with the ground, there was a loud bang. Chapter 1891. With a loud bang, the Saint of Julie Cave landed on the ground, creating a human-shaped crater. Everyone was shocked, especially the experts from Daffin Divine Earth. Many of them couldn't help but tremble. He injured the Saint of Julie. How could this be? The experts from the Daffin Divine Land found it hard to believe. The Nine Dawn Cave had been passed down in the Daffin Divine Land for an unknown amount of time. The current #1 expert of the younger generation had actually been smashed into the ground by the foreign invaders. Even the Saint of Blood Silkworm Ridge was shocked. His eyes narrowed as he stared at Lin Tian. Then he shifted his gaze to the human-shaped crater created by the Saint of Julie Cave. He knew that the Saint of Julie Cave couldn't be defeated so easily. Boom! Purple demonic light filled the sky, turning into a purple light pillar that shot up from the ground. It was as if it was going to pierce through the sky. The Holy Sun of Julie Cave rushed out from the ground, his expression even uglier. He was the Holy Sun of Julie Cave, invincible among his peers. But now he had invited an outsider to work for him and was rejected. Then he took the initiative to kill this outsider but failed. Now he was slapped in the face and sent flying underground in front of all the cultivators of Daffin Divine Land. His face was still a little red, and anger surged in his heart. "I'll kill you!" He roared and revealed his true form. He turned into a Julie divine bird, burning with purple divine fire. The Saint of Julie revealed his true form. Many experts from Daffin Divine Earth trembled. Some powerful demons would usually roam the world in their human form. In that state, they would not be able to display their strongest combat strength. The true strongest combat strength of these demons was usually when they revealed their true form. With a rumble, the void shook. The Saint of Julie Cave revealed his true form. He was a primordial immortal bird, burning with purple flames that seemed to be able to burn everything. This damn bird's aura is almost twice as strong as before. The whooshing crocodile was moved. It looked at Lin Tian and muttered, "I wonder if this kid can deal with him." It knew that Lin Tian was very powerful, but the aura that the Saint of Julie was displaying was really terrifying. It wasn't too sure that Lin Tian could defeat him. Lin Tian's eyes narrowed slightly. He naturally felt that the Nine-Li Saint's son had become stronger than before. However, his expression did not change at all. "Kill!" The Saint Child of the Nine-Li tribe let out a low roar. He shook his body and charged forward. Once again, he summoned the Brilliant Unification Flag and attacked Lin Tian together. With a crack, Lin Tian felt an extremely strong pressure. The black hair in front of his forehead was blown into a frenzy by the aura of the Nine-Li Holy Sun, but his expression remained the same. The golden divine light was boiling, calm. The reincarnation diagram of the king's territory was activated again. The thunder divine Tao and nature divine Tao emerged together and formed the divine Tao reincarnation diagram in the blink of an eye. The divine Tao reincarnation diagram emitted a strange light and extinguished the purple demonic fire outside the Saint of Julie. The Saint of Julie was shocked. "You?" Bang! Lin Tian activated the divine Tao reincarnation diagram and sent the Saint of Julie flying thousands of feet away with a bang. Blood splattered in the void. Then, he didn't stop at all. He took a step forward, and the divine Tao reincarnation diagram pressed down again. At the same time, he unleashed his primal chaos emperor fists, one punch after another. Bang, bang, bang. Along with the divine path reincarnation diagram, suppressing the Saint of Julie, Yi Fuqian's fists landed on the Saint of Julie's body again and again. Blood splattered everywhere, and large cracks appeared in the sky. Damn it! The Saint of Julie roared. He couldn't hide his anger, and purple demonic fire rose outside his body again. He was the Saint of Julie Cave and the most powerful cultivator of the younger generation. However, he was being suppressed by a foreign human in front of the other cultivators of the great Brahma Holy Land and was about to be defeated. How could he stand it? With such an attitude, not only would he humiliate himself, even the Ninely Cave he was in would be humiliated. Roar! He let out a beast-like roar, and his demonic chi became even thicker and more intimidating. The purple demonic fire outside his body burned fiercely, almost igniting the void here. The scorching heat made all the cultivators tremble. Lin Tian felt an even stronger pressure. He mobilized the divine power in his body and activated the divine Tao reincarnation diagram again. Moreover, he also activated a few other divine techniques and attacked the Saint of Julie together with the divine Tao reincarnation diagram. Bang! There was a loud sound, and the Saint of Julie was sent flying again. Blood splattered all over the sky. Lin Tian stepped forward and threw out the Chaos Emperor punch without holding back. Puff! 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 His fist was like a sharp blade. Every time it landed on the Saint of Julie, it would bring out a large amount of blood. The Saint of Julie roared and used all kinds of techniques. Unfortunately, he couldn't change the situation. He was completely suppressed. The Saint of Julie Cave is defeated. How can it be? The cultivators of the great Brahma Holy Land couldn't help but tremble. In the distance, the whooshing crocodile couldn't help but laugh. He's really strong. It realized that it was completely unnecessary to worry about whether Lin Tian could defeat the Saint of Julie, who had revealed his true form. Yeah! Little Tai Chu called out to Lin Tian in a childish voice, as if he was encouraging Lin Tian. Moreover, he was very happy. In front of him, Lin Tian's Chaos Emperor punch kept landing on the Saint of Julie. Blood splattered everywhere and dyed the void red. The Saint of Julie roared and changed back to his human form. Because he was much bigger after revealing his true form, his agility was not as strong as when he was in his human form. It was not good for him to dodge Lin Tian's fist. Lin Tian's fist could easily hit his true form. There was nothing wrong with his train of thought. However, even though he had returned to his human form, it was still difficult for him to dodge Lin Tian's fists. Lin Tian's fists continued to land on his body, and the sound of bones shattering continued to ring out. Crack! Lin Tian stepped forward and hit the Saint of Julie with his palm. He almost smashed the Saint of Julie's head. Then he intertwined the four-symbol seal in his hand. The powerful seal vibrated and pressed down on the Saint of Julie. Whoosh! The sound of something breaking through the air was heard. A blood cone shot out and pierced the Saint of Julie's forehead. Human, you're really strong. However, you seem to have used up a lot of your divine power. How much combat strength do you have left? You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.